Tape's ready.
All right, that one's good.
You have Rosa and Danielle in there?
Yes,
see me?
I do.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
Yep.
Thank you. And you, sorry, you pressed record, right? Yes, I did. All right, so let's start the meeting. It is 6:06 p.m. Today's Monday, March 6, 2023. Call to order.
I'm sorry, Brittany.
The call to order.
Oh, okay. Edgar? He's not here. Sam?
Yeah.
Natasha?
Here.
Debbie?
Here.
Sylvia? Here. Marge? Here. Oh, God, Rosa, sorry, brain dead
It's
today.
okay. Here. All right, let's stand for pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so first up, we have the account presentation. Kelly, thank you for coming. All right, floor is yours.
So I was asked to come and try and explain some of the accounting that goes on and try to answer some of the questions for the board. My understanding, the auditor reached out to me to try and help get your audit completed. And with the required fraud questionnaire due to SAS 99, there was some questions brought up about some of the accounting and some of the transactions that were done. I have sent a memo addressing all the specific questions to the board member that inquired, but I just want to make sure everybody understands what was discussed and understand a little bit of how the accounting for the library occurs. As a library district, you fall under GASB, which stands for the Government Accounting Standards Board, accounting standards. And what it does is it creates funds, okay? A fund, by definition, is a self-balancing set of accounts for a specific purpose, okay? Every governmental organization in the state of Illinois has a general fund. The general fund is a unrestricted purpose fund. It can be used for any purpose of the library, okay? Under the general fund, you then have special purpose funds, and they're called special revenue funds. You guys have two special revenue funds. One is called IMRF, and one is called your building reserve fund, okay? Those funds are typically funded by property taxes for those purposes. So on your annual levy, you have an IMRF levy. You're only allowed to use that IMRF levy for IMRF expenses. So in order for us as accountants to see that you actually spent that property tax money on IMRF, we create a fund, okay? You guys also have a special reserve fund. The special reserve fund is a capital projects fund in nature. It is established by an ordinance passed by the library district. It is funded by surpluses that are generated by your general fund and can only be used for capital items. Capital items is a very generic term. That chair right there is considered a capital item for special reserve purposes. This table is capital. Even though it is small dollar value, it is the type of transaction as opposed to the dollar value of transactions. Most places use the special reserve fund to save money for future long-term capital projects. So every library district, every governmental in the state of Illinois should have a 10-year capital plan, or at least a 5-year capital plan that would basically say, okay, these are the major things we're going to do. Your HVAC, when you put it in, has a life of about 20 years. You should be planning on putting some money away to replace that HVAC in 20 years. Okay? That's what your special reserve fund is there for. It's meant to create reserves so that when those big projects come up, you have the cash on hand. When I first started with the library 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago now, that glass plate detached from the building and there was no reserves to reattach it. So in order for the library to reattach it and reopen, they had to go borrow money because they didn't have the reserves. Sylvia probably remembers this, okay? And so at that time, we started the special reserve fund. In the plan, it said if something drastic happened, there was money set aside to cover those costs. So that's the purpose of the special reserve fund. The last one is your debt service fund. That is from the debt service levy that was approved by referendum, I believe, about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago now, okay? In your financial reports, you'll see you have one income statement, one balance sheet. Realistically, no, you have 5 balance sheets, 5 income statements. But the way the reports have been presented to the board has been one of everything, and they combine them all together. And so I see how it can create some level of confusion, okay? The way we differentiate when you look at your financial reports is the first 2 numbers of any account number you see in your financial report. 10, if 10 is the first 2 numbers of any account number, that's a general fund account. If it's a 14, it's an IMRF. I'll slow down. If it's a 16, it is your building reserve, or your building and site fund. If it's 26, it's your debt service. And I can't remember what your special reserve fund number is, because you don't have any transactions, so I only have the income statement. But that's how we differentiate. And so when you get your audit report, and you look at your audit report, you'll see income statements and balance sheets by every fund. The way we create those in the software you have is because of these numbers. Does that make sense? Okay? Up until the last 2 years, there has been a building and site levy. Okay? The last 2 years, the building and site levy has not been approved. However, in your budget, you budget for that revenue, then it doesn't come to fruition. And you budget for expenditures out of that fund, Fund 16, that continue to get spent out of that fund. And so that's going to cause a problem long term. In your audit report draft that I've seen, there's already a comment that says that fund is in a deficit position.
But why was it budgeted to begin with? If it doesn't
Because
exist
you
anymore?
pass your budget before you pass your levy.
Not
So,
true.
yes.
Well, okay, 2 years, it's not passed. Okay, first year, if it was made a mistake, the second year should not be there.
I totally agree with you, ma'am, but I did not put your budget together, and I did not approve that budget. Okay?
Yeah,
So-
but
So the
there's a
fact is,
confusion there too, yeah.
okay, so the thing is this, is that because you've passed a budget to spend those monies are still being spent out of that account. I don't agree with it, but I'm going to state this much. I have not been part of the process to create the budget. What I do is I come in at your audit time and make sure your books and your revenues are allocated correctly in accordance with the levy, and I make sure that the bank accounts are allocated correctly to the funds, and I make sure that the necessary journal entries are there, and I kind of do a pre-audit before the audit so that most of your journal entries are done, because your auditor, if I don't do the work I do, your auditor could not audit your books, because there's transactions that they're not allowed to basically tell you because of the internal control requirements from an audit standards, okay? So the fact is that I don't know why it was continued to be put in there, okay? But the fact is that if you didn't put it in, those costs still exist, okay? So the costs that you pay out of the building and site fund still exist, even if you didn't put them in Fund 16. In actuality, there is more cost on your building and site that do not get recorded into the building and site fund. We have mirrored accounts in the general fund for those building and site costs where there's never been enough revenue. I don't know a library I work with 16 of them. I don't think a single one of my libraries, building and site 0.2% tax covers the cost of the building and site. It just doesn't. It's just not enough. The costs have increased way faster than the revenue stream, okay? So the thing is that realistically right now, there was questions in relation to, did we use the building and site levy for the building and site? The answer is yes. We didn't use, there is expenditures in the general fund that fall under the header building maintenance because the building and site fund didn't have enough revenues. And so therefore we have two building maintenance lines. One's within the building and site fund and one's in the general fund. To fix the building and site fund going forward, you're going to have to transfer money out of the general fund. And if you, and you can confirm it with your attorney, you can, if you go 3 years without passing that 0.2% levy, you have to go to referendum to get it back. So if you go one more year, if you don't pass that 0.2% in 2023, you will have to go to referendum to get it back. Okay? And so basically, you either have to find a way to, and the building and site costs, looking at what you have, it's not like you're doing a bunch of stuff every year, okay? I don't see you guys going in and buying new shelving units and painting the walls every year. What you're spending it on is the maintenance costs and the contract cost of the library district, okay? So I hope this, one of the things that I recommend to boards is to stop getting these single reports. These single fund reports can confuse the heck out of you because you get to the bottom line and it says, oh, I got a surplus of $62,000. But the problem is that's everything added together. That's not saying, well, is my IMRF fund making a surplus or is it running a deficit? Is my building and sites making an income or running a deficit? Because each fund is like its own little company. The way I like to think about the fund structure is it's its own little company. And they all have to make a small amount of profit to have reserves for things like Cook County not sending your tax bill out until December. Okay? So every fund that you have should have a level of reserves. And therefore, to create reserves, fund balance, equity, that's the word corporates use, you got to have surplus. You can't have deficits. If you run repeated deficits, the only way to get out of those repeated deficits is to A, levy more in those funds than you're going to spend, or B, transfer from the general fund to those funds to get them back out of a deficit. Okay? Now, there is nothing in the world that says you have to levy enough to cover the costs. Okay? And that being said, if you don't levy enough to cover the cost of your IMRF expense can go in the general fund, and the levy from the IMRF can go in the general fund, but it muddies it up. It's truly muddies it up. My recommendation is always, for certain expenditures, IMRF being one of them, you levy enough money, you don't transfer from the general fund, you don't blend it into the general fund. IMRF likes it that way, and it makes it clear to your taxpayers because IMRF becomes a separate line, I believe, on your tax billing account. Okay? As far as the balance sheet, I'm not a proponent of giving the balance sheet you have. I'm not even going to explain it. Why? Because there's items on that balance sheet that they're considered entity-wide accounts, and they're not day-to-day accounts. Okay, they're just I'll just use the term GASB accounts. They're accounts that GASB wants in your entity-wide statements, but it's not accounts that you guys typically manage, like capital assets or long-term debt. They're not the deferred revenues. The better thing to show in regards to a balance sheet is how much cash you have in the bank. That's truly, honestly, what you need to know and where the money is at. I'm looking at these reports, they say accrual. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, they're not. And the reason why they're not is because I don't know a government out there that does a full accrual close at the end of the month. Full accrual close would mean you'd record accrued salaries, you'd record your compensated absences, which is your unused vacation and sick time. You would record adjustments to the property tax receivable for the changes in the receivable. Nobody books those monthly. It would be better to run your financial statements on a cash basis because of just the information that you need to make decisions. But it is your call, you know? But this really is, I just want you to know, this is not full accrual accounting. Because I know for a fact that they're not booking accrued payroll. They're not booking adjustments. Not all of your accounts payable, I would bet, are in there because of the fact that of the timing of when. I don't know what else the board needs to understand. I'm willing to answer any question you have to the best of my ability.
What I'm trying to understand is when we get our statements that we have to approve the bills, and it says over here that it says maintenance, building and maintenance, and you have something coming out of there for a fax machine or a coin tower.
Right.
Or you have something for Amazon with no definition, or we're paying for a media box, sometimes out of building and maintenance, sometimes out of tech services. What are we doing?
Okay.
Why was somebody's payroll coming out of building and maintenance, but was never on an agenda, never in a packet for us to even approve?
So the stipend that was paid for the
Safety officer.
safety officer has been budgeted out of the building maintenance. The safety officer is considered a building and maintenance safety officer. And so him being that stipend, okay, originally was never put through payroll. Originally it was paid to him with a check. And then I came in and said, no, you can't do that. You got to put that on payroll. And so they still wanted it reflected as part of the building and maintenance account in the general fund. That's where it's been budgeted for years. Okay?
But is that a good answer, just like it's been like that for years, we just keep doing it?
I
Since
think
I've been
it's
on this board, I've
I
never
think
seen
it's
it to approve it or disprove it.
Did you approve his salary as part of the budget
I just
process?
came here in June, so I'm gonna
Okay.
say no, and I wouldn't have agreed with it, because I FOIA'd that safety officer, and he didn't do one thing in 3.5 years. We asked for his reports, nothing. We asked for what he did, nothing. We asked for him to appear here, to explain it to us, and he resigned after 17 years, mysteriously. Just saying, we didn't get a chance as a board. We get payroll warrants, do we want to approve them right here on the agenda? Nowhere did it ever say in every packet if we were going to approve or disapprove payroll out of a building and maintenance for a safety officer. Where was it?
So when the budget gets approved, okay, the board should obtain an understanding of what makes up the accounts that you're approving in the budget. So if somebody had asked, and since you just gotten on in June, if you would have asked what makes up the lines, it would have been explained to you, oh, this is the stipend that's paid to the safety officer, okay? As far as how charges get assigned to building and maintenance, okay? The building is more than just the structure. The building is the structure and everything within it. Whether it's, as I said, these tables, the video machines, the coin machines, the copy machines, those are all considered building for the building and maintenance fund, okay? How it gets decided which expenditures get charged to the Fund 16 and which get charged to 10, that is up to either your director or the person who's managing that budget, okay? which I don't know who is managing that budget. Most likely, it's the director. And that goes to the policies and procedures you have in relation to who assigns the account numbers to an invoice that comes in. You want more information on Amazon? I agree with you. I'm gonna agree with you. I don't think any bill should be just Amazon purchases. It should say what those Amazon purchases are, because everybody under the sun is using Amazon, and it's becoming so easy to just, well, I'm gonna go get it on Amazon, as opposed to going to a vendor we used to use that we don't use anymore, that you could look at the name of the vendor and you'd know it. So you have an obligation to your constituents to make sure you understand what you approve. So if you need more information, then it's your responsibility to provide that direction to the director to provide those in the reports, okay? If you don't think something is an allowable expense, then that's your prerogative to do, but just understand that the interpretation of what goes into building and maintenance may not agree with your interpretation.
How about name tag badges? Is that your interpretation? Because the people are wearing them in the building, now it goes under building and maintenance fund?
Well, it depends. If it's going under the building and maintenance on building and site, no, I wouldn't put it under Fund 16. But I could say, okay, you want to put name tags on people and I don't have another account to put it to? Because again, we only have so many accounts. And whether or not you put it in a building and maintenance, because again, we were putting safety measures under building and maintenance. So I could see name tags loosely being thought of as, yeah, we could put it under building and maintenance, in the general fund. But
In the
not
general
under
fund, not a building and maintenance fund.
Not under Fund 16. Not
Okay.
under Fund
Well,
16.
That's what it appears that we've been doing quite a bit of. And we also put safety products under there. We don't know what the safety products are, because when we ask, we don't know, we're waiting for a receipt. And during COVID, we were supposed to be getting all these grants to pay for all that stuff. So then we hear about the per capita grant, but yet we're buying books, and it doesn't say per capita grant next to it. It says it's coming out of adult services. Everything here is, and I love your term, loosey-goosey. Everything is just kind of like, let's just pass it. We just pass it, we just keep passing stuff, and nobody wants to ask questions. Then when you start asking questions, now nobody likes you. Now you're mean. Now everyone's after you. Why can't you ask a question and try to get an answer is what my main concern is. You ask about the petty cash fund, petty cash, petty cash, petty cash. Nothing's moved out of the petty cash fund now for 5 months ever since I asked about that. And now
Petty
it's dead.
cash, I'm going to tell you what happens with petty cash.
We don't
okay?
use it anymore ever since I asked about it, so we don't have to worry
But
about
I
that.
can explain to you how, so when people use petty cash, they don't push that through the general ledger. The petty cash amount is what is the balance in the box if I didn't spend a penny of it, okay?
Right.
So that's what it was. It wasn't like if she came up and said, hey, I went and got, I had to go to a conference, it was 20 miles away, can you give me the $10 to reimburse me for my mileage out of petty cash? It's not like she goes into QuickBooks and says, $10 out of petty cash charged to travel. Petty cash, huh?
Oh, yes, we have done that several times. We have taken $194 out of there for crafts for programs and supplies and other
That was
things.
for the mileage too, I remember.
But it shouldn't be charged to petty cash, it should be charged to
Thank you.
mileage.
Well, in petty cash, then that month, we have to put the petty cash back to
But
always
the-
make the petty cash equal $250, which I understand. You start with petty cash, $250 every month, you spend it, you gotta replace it, which is exactly where the license plate account came from. We started it with 10,000 every month.
Why don't we keep, if we're talking about petty cash, that's a whole nother, you're starting another conversation with the.
Well, I'm
license
saying,
plate.
I'm telling her how we
Okay.
replaced petty cash, we should have been replacing license plate. They're comparable. It's 2 separate accounts. That's why I'm using it at the same time as petty cash. That's all, Marge.
Okay.
Because you know how petty cash we use, then we replace that at the end of the month. License plates we use, we should replace that also at the end of the month. Every account we have should balance at the end of the month. We should never be going all the way down to $2,000 in a license plate account that we started for that specific purpose. Just like petty cash, we started that for that specific purpose. Otherwise, why would we have a petty cash fund? Just take it from wherever you want.
And I'm gonna open up the GL for a second here. So when it comes to petty cash, I'm trying to get clarity. Did the general ledger account that was being charged be petty cash, or was the vendor named petty cash?
When we use petty cash,
Uh-huh.
let's say, for instance, like Natasha mentioned, there was $194 in crafts. If that was for youth services, then it got charged to the youth service program line. If it was for adult service, it got charged to adult service
But
program
this is,
line.
so what I'm asking, so we'll just, for argument's sake, you paid, Joanne got paid $194 for youth services, okay? When it came to the board, you saw the vendor name as petty cash, right?
They saw the vendor name as petty cash, but then some.
But then the GL account number
Would
was youth services.
Jewel and Osco, they spent, let's say they brought cookies, Jewel and Osco, $25 in cookies.
There's nothing under petty cash, it's just like, there's no number on the account.
Yes,
You just-
there is. It's assigned to whatever department is the one who.
Well, we didn't have so long, I can remember now, but I don't.
I unfortunately didn't
Yeah.
bring my suitcase that I always bring, because I would have given you a perfect
So
example.
I asked you to go back and look. If the vendor name was petty cash, then basically what she's doing is, in order for a bank to cash a check, to replenish the cash that's in a bank, a box, whatever everybody calls it different, okay? In order to get the money back to be $250, which is what you say it is gonna be in that box, you have to write a check to petty cash in order for the bank to cash it,
Right.
okay? So they write the check to petty cash, but then the expenses they charge is whatever that expense is for, travel, entertainment, whatever, okay? So if you're saying that the account that they were charging was the petty cash account, not travel account, then I can understand your comment better, okay? But if the vendor name is petty cash, and then the expense accounts that were charged was what the expense purpose was, then what they were doing is 100% in accordance with accounting standards. Because we leave the dollar value that's on the general ledger to be whatever the amount the bank is supposed to be. And then we write the checks to replenish the cash when we go to the bank, and we charge directly to. Standard practice, otherwise the accounting work that goes into managing a petty cash account becomes way overburdensome. And it's thing. When it comes down to the license plate account, all I can say is that the license plate account was hastily decided upon, in my opinion. The money that you got from your credit card transactions is go into one bank account. Your cash can go into another bank account. And the reconciling part of it, the money, the $10,000 that got put into the initial account was general fund money. Okay? So whether or not you replenished it, as long as there was an accounting that was being done of the transactions, the replenishment it's a personal preference item, in my opinion. Okay? You would have liked to have seen it. I can understand your perspective. Where I look at it, go, well, I didn't run out of the $10,000 yet, and based on how much we were sending out, it was going to last me another 3 months. Why take my money out of an interest-bearing account and put it into a non-interest-bearing account? So I understand that the accounting around it was done, it's just the money wasn't put back into the bank account. But I can understand your perspective in the sense that you wanted, it would have been cleaner had all the money gone into one account and all the money come out of one account. But the fact of the matter is that was never going to happen because the credit card machine cannot be split between two bank accounts. We'd have to go get a whole
It
new.
sure doesn't, but every month that should have been a check cut back into the license plate account,
And
just like we
that's your
cut the check.
opinion. That's
to
your
the-
opinion.
Well, how would we ever know how much money we made on the license plate account then?
Because there's a revenue account and an expense account, and you can look at it.
Well, we have to make appointments to do it, and the times that I've asked for it, I've been asking for it since July. And just recently, suddenly they're flooding me with them because I reported it as, I believe it's fraud, because it still doesn't balance. Danielle came up with around 10,300, Joanne came up with 10,200 something, but we only sold 45 accounts, so it still doesn't match. I don't know who's gonna make it
I
match.
could give you the new bank statement, it does match now because we transferred the appropriate money.
It matched now. It didn't match for 7 months that I asked about it,
Well,
but
because
it,
I wasn't given direction by the director to transfer that money into the license account.
conveniently, it's always someone's fault that's no longer here.
It's not that it's a convenience, it's that there's no clear direction as to what to do. And so, yes, people have been doing things that, okay, well, it's always been this way. And it's great that you're coming, you know, that we get new board members and we say, okay, this isn't right. It shouldn't be account expense to this, and you should do the transfers. But that's why we have a board. You have to voice your opinion so that things can change.
And ask. But last time when we were asking, and I believe you were the one, I could probably pull up the email, but I don't want to sit here till 10 p.m., is we can't just come in the library and ask Joanne for stuff. We can't just look through things. We don't have access to anything unless we either make an appointment for 2 weeks from now or whenever someone's busy. Joanne helped me one time, it took 5 minutes. I don't understand what the big thing of us asking for information and then saying, it's not for you, or it's not, or don't talk to the staff, or I saw you talking to the staff. I could talk to the staff. I talked to them outside the library and inside the library. I don't know who made up this rule that we can't talk to the
Who
staff.
said you can't talk to the staff?
Rosa accused me last week of I'm talking to the staff. I'm trying to poison the staff. What am I doing to the staff? I'm in here talking to them, and that's okay. I can be
That's great that
friends
you're
with
talking to
people.
the staff.
Right. Well, I don't need emails saying that if I'm here or if I'm not here, or who I should and shouldn't be talking to.
I'm responding to the questions that you
Okay.
ask me.
Okay.
All my comments and all my emails towards you are questions that you have asked me.
And that's exactly why I said from now on, I did not want to come and talk to, in person, Joanne, Danielle, or Rosa, that I wanted to do everything by text or email, because everything gets spun around.
And things they're misinterpreted.
Correct.
I asked for you to make appointments with Joanne is because she has a lot of day-to-day work. And sometimes people come in here and you guys are asking her, hey, I need the 12, which is fine, you guys can totally ask for 12 months of anything.
We've never
or-
asked for 12 months of stuff on the spot, so that's just made up. You just made that up.
No, I have
Because
come
we would
here and
never walk in
Joanne
this library
skips
and
her
ask
lunch.
somebody for 12
Joanne
months.
has skipped her lunch because people come, or she stops what she's doing because we asked for something, and so I was just saying, be courteous to Joanne's time. She doesn't
Every
sit here
email,
and do nothing.
Joanne, at the end, every email, when I say, take your time, let me know whenever it's ready,
Which
time
is
is
great.
not of the essence.
Which is great.
I've never rushed her, I've never said I need that information.
Okay, that emails that I send are not all directed towards you. They've
And
never
I-
directed towards one
And also,
person.
Rosa, I can't help it that you guys waited to the 13th hour to start filing papers.
Which
And have
papers?
Hearn call and say, we have to do this, and send us emails, we're gonna get fined. No, you're not. You're gonna call up and you're gonna say, we're not ready still, because again, we waited till the 13th hour. Why do we wait so long to start looking at this stuff? I've been asking about this. This is what I reported to Hearn, was the license plate account. And this is still what we're stuck on. And I've been asking about it since the month after I got on the board. And all of a sudden, everybody wants to answer the questions now, because now they want me to call Hearn and say, everything's cool.
So
Well,
do you
it's
want
still
them
not
to
cool.
answer your questions, or do you not want them to answer your questions?
It would be nice to get an answer that's correct, a correct answer.
Okay, and which isn't correct?
I don't know. I don't know. Danielle says 10,300's in the account, then it was 10,217, then it was 10,219.78, then we had, my favorite was an even 10,000. It was even. So we didn't make a dime, we didn't lose a dime.
Okay.
These are all emails and papers that I have.
Which is
So
why it's
which one
nice.
is correct?
Email gets misinterpreted, so I do think that's why it's important to make appointment, in something like this, it is not a 5-minute thing. That is why you should make an appointment with Joanne or with Danielle, or, say, hey, can you bring in Kelly? Let's go over this. If you have a question, by all means, that is great. So we encourage everyone here, if you have a concern, voice it. That is why we're a board. No one acts on one thing alone, or on one person's decision alone. So you having questions on the license plate, that is great. If you still do not understand it after the most recent email that has gone out, then that is something you need to sit down, or if you want to discuss today, we are happy to do so.
I said before, I'm waiting for the bank statement. I'm waiting
But the
to
bank
hear all
statement,
these-
which she did, which doesn't come out, which one is
I
this one?
just printed it today, it just came out.
Which shouldn't even be accurate because there's no cash deposits that have been made into our bank accounts.
Well, Joanne was borrowing money from another account.
So
to put
then,
the cash
and
back
because
in.
if she doesn't, then you're gonna continue that things are not as it should be. So how is she to make you happy?
I want it to balance, Rosa. I want it to be accountable for the taxpayer dollars so that we are not playing loosey-goosey with everyone's money.
Well, that is
That would make me
impossible.
happy. It would be me happy if we could find the money that we're discussing, if we could allocate things in the right account, if we could
Can I
wonder.
interrupt for 1 minute? Kelly's here, she doesn't have anything to do with that license plate thing, does she?
Well, I don't know, according to her, she's looking over our books, because she even said she didn't do a complete fraud investigation, which I don't know why, if somebody's reporting fraud, if we're supposed to tell you,
You're
but
reporting
she.
fraud on the license plate?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
See, and I did not look at the license plates because the fact that the accounting that I had seen, the emails that were sent to me had to do with the building and maintenance.
Well,
And
that's,
that is
yeah,
what
that's
I
a whole
responded
nother
to.
one, too,
Now,
yes.
I have just looked at all of 2022, so July 1st of 2021 through June of 2022, and from July of 2022 through now, and the expenses that are being taken out of the building and maintenance fund: alarm, annual fire sprinkler system inspection, relamped and outage a light fixture, fire alarm monitoring. So that's all that's been taken out of there in 2023.
That's the actual fund, the
This is
account, right?
actual
Not the
building
general
and
ledger
site fund,
line.
not the general fund.
Okay.
Okay? Again, we've got to remember that we have to think of this as, hey, we've got two separate funds, okay? The account names might be the same, but when we look at Fund 16, which is the building and site fund, okay? I'm going to go back, I'm going to go into June of 2020, July of 2021 to June of 2022. Elevator stuff, annual sprinkler system, service upgrade on cleaning, elevator contract, janitorial service, elevator contract, janitorial service, window cleaning, replace the bollards, fix a door lock, janitorial service, sprinkler inspections, rod a floor drain in the bathroom, janitorial, a bunch of snow plowing, elevator service. There's nothing in here that talks about nameplates. There's nothing in here that talks about simple things. This is truly, honestly, the most exact description of
Okay,
what.
so then what is so with this, when we're getting these printouts of our checks that we're approving, why are they all saying that they're coming out of the building and maintenance fund?
It's coming out of the building and maintenance.
Out of the
Count.
general fund?
See that 10 at the
No,
beginning?
this is a new one. I
I
don't
understand
have
it.
2021 with me.
Okay, so see this 10?
Uh-huh.
That means that's general fund money. That's not building and site tax levy. If this said 16, then that's the building and site fund. Okay, that's the building and site levy.
So in the general fund,
Okay,
there's just
so
line
every
items.
snow management is coming out of the general fund.
Right, now it is because there's no money going into the building and site fund. Because you no longer have a levy on Fund
So all these
16.
that are under building and maintenance, out of all of
Building and
our,
maintenance fund, no, see, this is,
well, that's what we're told from our packets for the last. This is where I got this information off of our
these were
packets.
not out of, I'm gonna tell you right now, these were not out of 16. I just looked at 16, these are not out of 16. These are out of 10.
So we're not getting the same information that you're
I
getting.
no, I don't know what you got.
I think it's just, we have to pay closer attention
You have to
to
look
here,
at,
like the
yeah,
account section.
I don't know. Can I borrow this a second? I'll bring it back.
Right, like this is the account number. Is this what she highlighted for you?
Like
Like where she was talking about these numbers?
Right, but she's saying.
What?
it's on
When you
or
say it's
16
personal
So if it
preference-
starts, so this is the
So,
account it's coming out of.
management has the right to decide what they believe
I think
is an
it's general.
appropriate expense.
Whatever it should
Mine
say,
tells me.
16.
So while you might
Okay.
think something should go under office supply, I might think it should go under office equipment, or vice versa. Because like a perfect example is, think of a calculator, a 10-key calculator, costs about $85, okay? Some people think that that's an office supply because it's $85. Some people think that's office equipment and should go under office equipment because it's in a piece of equipment. Okay? I believe it's an office supply. Anything that's short-term, so it's a preference on what you want to go there. So when it comes to the building and maintenance fund, okay? The building and maintenance fund and account, there's a preference as to which it should go into. Should it go into the general fund or should it go into the building and maintenance fund? Okay? They've taken a pretty hard-nosed approach that, you know, repairing the building is what comes out of the building and maintenance fund. They're not taking some of the more liberal interpretations of the statute as to what could come out. I mean, there are library districts that charge all of their utilities to the building and maintenance fund because it's allowable. You guys don't. You guys literally just charge how the cost to maintain the building, elevators, light fixtures, cleaning, snow removal. Okay?
Because we have a special fund, it's just utilities.
Because they've decided, because the dollar amount that you get from your 0.2% is only about 25 grand. That's not enough to cover all these costs. So,
So wait a second. So you're telling me everything over here that starts with number 10? That's all general fund.
General fund.
So why is it then all written like, okay, this is development, now we have maintenance here, now we have circulation service, now we have technical service, now we have adult service.
So they created departments within the financial,
So just to show how much each department.
but makes, yes.
But
It's
when we do the audit, they look at each department thing, or they look at the general fund itself?
So your audit is, you get opined on your major funds and the aggregate of all remaining funds, okay? And it's to a materiality level, okay? So what does that mean? Okay, so what they do is they look at, you don't have a copy of the audit with you, do you?
The
No.
draft?
No, that's right. So if you look at your audit report, and you guys wouldn't have had the new one yet because it's not done.
I have the last year ones.
Yeah, do you have last year's?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if you go to page 13 in last year's report, this report is, these three are what are called major funds. They're items that the accounting standards board that I talked about at the beginning say are important enough that they need to be audited themselves. Everything else falls under the non-major fund, meaning that they're not big enough or significant enough, according to the accounting standards boards, to have an opinion drawn on each one of them individually. You can provide an opinion on them as a whole, okay? The calculation is basically, it's, let me think of this correctly, 10% of revenues, 10% of assets or 5% of revenues, okay, is what it boils down to, okay? Your general fund is so big that it basically makes most of your accounts small. You can tell the auditor, hey, by the way, I want my debt service to always be a major fund because it's important to me. I want you to opine on that debt service because it's important that we pay those debts correctly. And your working cash, okay, now your working cash is $319,000, it's big enough to be material, therefore it's showing as a major fund. The other thing your auditor does is your auditor doesn't go in and say, I'm going to look at every single line. Your auditor comes up with what's called materiality. Materiality is a threshold to which the financial statements must meet. So that if somebody read these financial statements, even if that error wasn't found, this statement would still be a fair statement, and that somebody couldn't go in and make a bad decision on it, okay? So now, I'm not saying this is what the auditor did, but this is something that the auditor could have said. They could have looked at how much you spent on the vehicle stickers. You collected $10,000 in vehicle sticker revenue. I think you collected only $7,000. And they could look at that and go, well, that's in the general fund. My materiality threshold for the general fund is, I'll just throw a number out there, $35,000. $7,000 isn't a big enough number for the financial statements to be materially misstated. I'm not saying that's what he did. I'm just saying that's how an auditor thinks. Okay? So when it comes down to the transactions you're looking at, okay, I'm looking at the dollar value of them, okay, and it's $17,000, okay? I'm not saying that nothing's going to be done, but I am saying that all of these expenditures are in the general fund, okay, in an account titled Building and Maintenance, okay? They're not in the Building and Maintenance Fund. It is not in against the levy that was titled for Building and Maintenance, okay?
So basically, it's the journal entries, the way that they would put it. So
Right,
what's
right.
the problem, like even like the one that she mentioned that, I forgot which one is it? The journal entry was
The
switching.
media box, yeah, one time
It was the media box?
Yeah, one
Yeah.
time it was
So the
building and
journal
maintenance.
entry twice was from building and maintenance and once from technical services.
Right. They're
So-
both in the general fund.
But the building and maintenance isn't funded.
No,
That's-
No.
So I understand your comment. Your comment is, and I'm looking at it like right here, International Library Services, $6,163, media box annual license and maintenance, okay? You're saying that there may be another expenditure for the media box that came out of tech services as opposed to building and
It's
maintenance.
the same one from.
It's not the same amount of money, it's a different billing time. One time they journaled it as building and maintenance, one time, so the person who's doing the journaling is not knowing what exactly.
Or
If
it's the assignment, it's not a journaling, it's purely it's the assignment of the
Or
expense.
assignment, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it, assignment.
Well, a
which
person
fund
is
it's coming
assigning
from.
it, so.
Well,
this
it
is where
could
the
be, don't
confusion
forget, it could be the media box, they had to put a new cord on it. So that's a
Well,
physical thing.
these are fees.
Is, I'm sorry, I'm trying to give an idea, I could be.
No, but you don't have to give an idea, these are real charges.
Yes, but you're saying one time it's technical and the other time it's building and maintenance.
For the same type of charges.
It's like the
Exactly
third
same type of
payment, the
charges.
fourth payment, it's for a payment of it, it's
That we
not
are
for
paying it off.
repair.
Ah, okay.
So is that just an error, we just need to correct, like, it should, I mean, is it like just a preference? All three of them, since they're technically the same thing, they should all be towards one or the other, not one time here and two time there.
Okay, so the point that is being made is this. The annual service agreement on the coin towers was charged to tech services. But and so that was, it's the same vendor. The third payment on the coin towers to buy them went under building and maintenance. Okay, so realistically, the question comes in is, why would I charge the annual maintenance contract to tech services, but to actually buy the machines, I'm charging it to maintenance? That's what I'm hearing on that
Yeah.
one particular thing. The rest of these, so in looking at these items were charged to the general fund, They weren't charged to the building and site fund. The fact that there's several charges here that, being that they're in the general fund, the maintenance account is the appropriate account for an annual maintenance contract for these items, okay?
But if we're getting grants for like tech services, why aren't we using the money out of there?
So, the confusion is, I can't go in and take the expense and net it against the revenue, okay? When I get a grant, whatever the purpose of the grant, I still have to charge the expenditure to the purpose of the expenditure, okay? So if I get a grant for library technical, to add 5 more computers, okay? I have to book the $10,000 I got in the grant as a revenue, and then I have to book an expense for equipment for $10,000, okay? I may not have budgeted for it because of the fact that I didn't know I was going to get the grant. I can't net the two of them together. The accounting rules don't allow me to. Does that make sense?
No, because where do you put the grant then?
The grant goes into revenue.
Okay.
Okay, so I go in and I go out and buy, call Dell up, send me 5 computers. Oh, that's $10,000. I write a check to Dell, I charge equipment. I then send the state library board, hey, you gave me this grant, send me my $10,000, here's the receipt and the payment for the grant, for the computers that I told you I was going to buy. Oh, okay, here's your check from the state of Illinois. The library deposits that check into the bank account and records it as a revenue in the general fund.
Okay.
Okay? So I can't net the two of them together. I always have to show my revenues clean of my expenses. Okay? I can understand why you're looking at this stuff and saying, well, why is this being charged to this expense account versus that expense account? Unfortunately, sometimes there's not an easy answer. Sometimes it is, because that's where we've always recorded it, and therefore that's where we've budgeted it. Okay? And so budgets are typically based on what I spent in the previous year. So if the prior administration or the prior board says, hey, I'm going to approve this budget, and the director says, well, in this line item in this budget is the following, okay? And now a new board comes in and says, well, no, I don't think the coin tower should be taken out of building and maintenance. I think the coin tower should be put into equipment. The fact is you're basically saying it's in the same fund, okay? It's whether or not it should go in maintenance or in equipment. And when the budget is approved, there's a thought process as to what goes into those lines, okay? And you can't change that concept in the middle of the year without going back and changing your whole budget. And if you're going to suddenly say, well, I'm no longer going to take this expense out of this line because I don't think it belongs there, well, no, the prior administration, and that's where we budgeted, that's where they thought was a good place to go. It's a reasonable assumption, okay? I'm not saying to put salaries in a book line. I'm not saying that at all. If it is blatantly, obviously wrong, of course. I don't want salaries taken out of a book line, okay? But when we start talking about some of these things, being that this is all in the general fund, there's more flexibility into the definition of an account. Otherwise, you end up having a general ledger account that's 500 lines long, and you're literally keeping track of every single transaction you have. And I've seen it happen where, I call it account creep, where one board member goes, well, I want to see how much money we're spending on the coin towers. Even though it's only 2 transactions, they create a new line called coin towers. And now you're tracking that expense. Oh, and now I want all the toilet paper we buy, and they create a line called toilet paper, and now you're tracking all of that. You guys don't, I've seen it with ammunition, with police officers. I've seen it with, pads of, like, boxes of paper, where people have created, 8.5 by 11 paper lines, because they want to know how much money they spend on paper. The question comes into play is, can somebody look at these expenses, knowing that they're coming out of the general fund, believe that they're reasonably okay to be out of that building and maintenance line? That's what you have to ask yourself. If you don't believe they belong out of the building and maintenance line, then look at your general ledger accounts and tell us where to move them, okay? You're not asking me, I'm not moving money from one fund to another. Based on what you're showing me here, this is moving money from this line to that line. And when it comes down to the bottom line, your net income in your general fund is going to change by that much money. Because these are just moving it from line A to line B. If you would like me to look at so when it comes to fraud, I also want to make this statement. When it comes to fraud, putting something in the wrong general ledger line is not fraud, okay? When somebody goes and buys an air purifier and takes it home, that's fraud, okay? So when we think about, I'm not saying that you don't have worry on the license plates. I have not looked at the license plates accounts. I know that there is a report that comes out of the state of Illinois that can compare to what money you took in. And if you wish for me to go through and do the accounting and come down to the penny for you, I'll be more than happy to spend the time to do it. But when it comes to this stuff, unless you think that somebody went in and took one of these things home with them,
Well, we don't know, because we bought new computers, I think, once, and then 3 years later, new computers. Then I asked the previous administration, where's the computers? They're in a room. You come here to say, where's the computers? No one can find the key. It's in the basement somewhere with some recycling company. You can't get answers. So maybe when we get our new administration, or maybe we have to do a forensic audit, and then maybe we'll find out where stuff is. We don't know. I don't see any air purifiers unless they're upstairs in the office. Maybe they're in your office, Joanne, I don't know.
They're in the meeting rooms.
They're in the meeting rooms? I mean, I have never seen any.
There was one down in the community room when we were having our meetings.
okay? So the thing is that when it comes to fraud, moving things between accounts is not fraud, okay? That's just a misclassification. Fraud occurs when somebody intentionally takes something. And trust me, I know people that have been fired over taking a $99 shredder,
Or less.
you know?
We got a lot of free stuff from Quill. I don't know who gets the free stuff that comes from Quill. Starbucks gift cards, there was,
We raffle them off to the employees. We
To
do
the who?
raffles.
Employees.
We do raffles for the employees.
why wouldn't we raffle them off to patrons? Don't you do baskets and stuff by the front door?
We were using them for senior reading program prizes before COVID.
Boy, would employees get them then.
Why not?
Well, because like I just said, it's taxpayer dollars. Why would an employee get it? They're getting a paycheck.
Just an opinion.
Well, that's my opinion. I would rather my taxpayers go to a patron of the library that's paying taxes than someone that we're already paying. We do stuff for the employees. We just gave them raises. We gave them retros. All these employees are fantastic that are here right now downstairs. They're smiling. They're great. Everybody's on board. Everyone's in a great mood. Everybody's doing fantastic. I don't see why the more toilet paper and paper towels we buy to get free gift cards, we have to raffle to employees instead of making a nice little thing like they did for Super Bowl. I think Shannon did that. Did you guys get to see it? It was like a whole Super Bowl thing and they raffled some stuff off there. I mean, why wouldn't we do that for our patrons? Just an idea.
I do.
If I may, my understanding, Sylvia, that with that license plate, that, it's like a Ventra card. You have to put in a minimum of what? X number of dollars, or your iPass, you have to put it $40 in there. My understanding that was the
10,000 it
the
started with.
10,000 was that. And we could spend it down to a certain point. Maybe I'm wrong on that. So. but
I
know-
wasn't here when it started, but I don't know why you would do that. How would you ever know when you're making money? If you just keep depleting it, depleting it, depleting it?
Well, there was like, let's see.
I don't know that it was a money-making thing. I think it was a
Well, I'm glad
service
it's
for the
canceled.
patrons.
Like I said,
It was
it's-
never a money-making
it's-
plan.
But
It was just a service for the patrons, just like the notary public thing. It was a service. It was never a money-making thing.
I don't think it should be about the money, but I don't think the money should just go away. We don't know.
It
What if
wasn't a
somebody
money go away
accidentally,
thing.
because what if
It
someone
was-
accidentally charged someone's credit card twice, or didn't charge you once and it went through the state? How would we keep track of it? How do you keep track of it? How do you balance something? How do you
It's-
balance how many
there were-
stickers?
With it going in 3 or 4 different directions, I can see where it's a problem. Because that, you had to pay.
Let's be
credit
glad
card company
we
and
canceled it.
Yeah,
upstate.
I find it's gone. I thought it was a nice thing to have.
I think it's a very nice thing, and
But
we
if
could
it's a-
still
if
do it
it-
as long as they have the card, which that's the only time we were doing it anyhow. It's just now you have to use their credit card and put in their own information directly to the state. I do it for myself, I do it for my kids, right on the computer. It's a courtesy we could do for free. You don't have to
But
charge.
if they will be mailed to them. that's-
Okay, so we can
Right.
speak about license plates after
We
unfinished
already
business.
did.
Yes.
Oh.
Did we cut, did we?
What
finish?
questions do we have for Kelly while we have her?
Can I just real quick, because people were talking, I didn't get to meet Natasha. So you said personal, she had personal preference, and who here is that personal preference that decides all that? I think that was your question.
Yeah.
And they talked over you.
So realistically, it's, so I
That was
think.
just her question, sorry.
Right, yeah,
Wasn't
no,
me, I
no,
just
no,
think
no,
they
no,
were
no,
talking.
okay. So my understanding was Joanna signs the accounts, okay? So when a bill comes in and gets processed, Joanna signs the accounts, records it into to the QuickBooks software,
But
okay?
the director approves it, when I do the invoice,
Let-
he
let me-
approves it. Then
Please,
he-
please, please,
Then he,
please,
then he
please.
says,
I
okay,
know.
it's safe in that account, or change it.
I know, okay?
Was
So
that my
she
mistake?
assigns the account, the bill then goes to the director, director approves it, sends it. Then the board gets a board report that tells you what account that got charged. At any point after Joanna signs the account, the director or the board can change the account number anytime they want, if they feel that it's the wrong account number.
I just didn't hear.
Yeah.
They were
Within the
talking, I was
same,
quiet.
sorry, within the same calendar year, or not, our fiscal
So
year?
you can reclass an expense all the way up to the point that the audit is issued.
Okay.
So if you find something from 2022 that you want to put into a different account, we can still tell the auditor, please reclass the following expenses.
Okay.
Okay? Once the audit is done, you can't move it around, obviously, because somebody's already said, hey, this is good numbers. Okay? So that's the only thing.
I still want to revisit the building and maintenance fund levy. I'd like to reinstate that.
It's not on the agenda, and we can't until we vote on it again in June, right? May or June?
Typically, you don't pass that until after your budget is approved, and when you start
Can we
talking
put it
about
on, if I'm not here, or if I've gone into the dustbin?
No, we already voted no against it.
for last year.
For last year.
For
For
last year.
last year.
How about thinking about it for this year? Think about it. Think about it, because it's something you really should have on you really should have.
That's something we can add to the agenda.
For obvious reasons, you really should have it.
It works out to what, $5 or something?
We're not gonna do this again, please. It's not on the agenda. Let's move
so,
on.
Any questions? Sorry, go ahead, Natasha.
If anybody has questions for Kelly, is it Kelly? Calene?
My given name is Calene, but I go by Kelly.
Okay. I don't want to make a mistake.
No, that's okay. It's easy.
Okay, so everyone understands that where to look moving forward on what account it gets charged to?
And then you can ask Joanne, it's a simple print off of a chart of accounts. It's a standard report in the general ledger.
And so keep in mind too, like, again, we're a board, So, you know, if I say I feel really passionate that this should go towards this fund and you think it should go towards that fund, we can't just both email, sorry, Joanne, and say move it to this. Like, that's something that, if it was like that and that's your opinion, that's something maybe the whole board should discuss. So bring it up, make sure it's added to the agenda if you guys see something that shouldn't
I
be.
still think the payroll should be put back into the building and maintenance.
For the safety officer one?
Payroll.
The payroll is not in the building and maintenance fund.
The safety officer one is the one she's
The
concerned, but
safety
there's a
officer is
stipend.
in the general fund in a line titled building and maintenance.
Okay, so it did come from
Okay,
general
So
fund.
it's
Yeah.
not out of building and maintenance?
No.
Okay, one more question, quick.
Yeah.
These reports that you say that
Yeah.
you don't like them either, is Joanne one making them? And
Joanne is making them, but it's up to the board to decide what they want.
So where are they generated from QuickBooks?
They're generated from QuickBooks.
Do they have different types of reports that they can look
So,
differently?
so the look would be the same. What I would do is generate a report by fund. That's what
Okay.
I would do. And instead of you getting one report, you'll
Or maybe
get
we can try that
one
next time.
report per
Joanne.
fund.
Generated by the fund and see,
Yeah.
maybe it's gonna be more understandable.
Okay, so let's do, Joanne, if you can make a note of it, I'll make a note.
Usually, it's terrible.
Generate report.
It's just terrible to go and try to look at everything.
Yeah, well, that was.
No, I.
Is that a different, I'm sorry, is that so you talked about a couple different reports, so there's one, you're saying right now,
So-
one by
so-
funds, and then
right,
you're saying
so-
about deficit.
So right now, they can do the same exact report,
Uh-huh.
except select only accounts, like, select just the general fund account, select the building and site fund account, select the IMRF account, select, and save them as separate reports.
Okay,
And then print them off as separate reports so that you see, in the IMRF fund, I received $22,000 in revenue and I spent $52,000 in
That sounds like
expenses.
you're killing a lot of trees.
You don't have to
No,
print anything
last
off.
we've got this balance sheet, which is,
Yeah, I wouldn't,
the one that's labeled balance sheet is the one that I think is a waste of time.
It is.
The one that I like is the budget versus actual, because it gives me an idea of
Yes.
where we are. But the balance sheet,
What is
that
that?
was
What
our
sheet
previous
is that?
director, Layton, is put this in, and we hadn't had it before, and to me it was it's merely repeating everything else.
and it's,
And
I'm just gonna say it's not
was
accurate.
confusing, or I shouldn't say confusing, it wasn't that informative.
that was called balance sheet?
yeah, the one called balance sheet is not accurate.
Okay, so let's remove the balance sheet, we'll keep the budget,
Versus actual.
versus
Yes.
actual, and then we'll generate a new report by fund.
Well, let's try to see, maybe it's gonna be better for us to understand.
Okay. And then just speak up, after you guys see this report, just speak up, like if there's, and again, if there's anything you wanna add or remove from our, like, what we print out, speak up.
Well, I'm gonna say the check summary to me, that and the check detailed transaction to me is duplication.
Well, it's not. I mean, it's more detailed when you go in a check detail transaction, you can see exactly
Right.
what's charged for.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I mean,
But
maybe we
why-
don't
why-
need a check
Here's
summary,
another
yeah?
piece of paper that's, I can read this and,
Are you talking about the top sheet, Marge?
it's labeled check summary.
Okay, okay.
So
To me,
remove check
that- and then
summary,
the check detail
Because
is
it's already
the
in
same
check detail.
information.
Yeah, but you
So-
know what, this one, you could just kind of go at a glance, if you have a question, then you can find it in order. I would rather see that than pictures.
okay, so we'll keep both then.
Okay.
We'll keep them both.
I'm just, like you say, trying to streamline.
Yeah,
Okay, anything else for Kelly? Anything budget-wise, anything?
The only thing I can just stress to you the most, when you get your new director, have them budget by fund,
Budget by fund.
because by not budgeting by fund, you guys didn't realize that you approved a budget for an expense line that doesn't have a revenue line.
Okay.
Oh, because we,
Because you blended it all together into one. Because you put it all together as one, you don't realize that you just budgeted for something that you have no revenue stream for.
right, so it
well,
looks
you're
bad.
saying that the building and maintenance fund. Okay, the building and maintenance fund, not, okay.
And while you didn't intend to budget, and you had no intention of, you know, you knew you didn't have building and maintenance revenue coming in, you didn't realize that you just approved a budget to spend the building and maintenance fund. And so then when you didn't pass the levy, you now just passed a budget for an expenditure that you just took the revenue stream away from.
Right,
So
but
if
that
you
was 2
budget-
years denied, so it should have been removed
Well, it
last
was in a
year.
budget.
But if you have money left in the fund, you can budget to spend it. Okay, that's the thing. If you have money in a fund, even if you don't levy for it, you still can budget to spend it. Otherwise, the money just sits there forever and ever. So if there was money in the fund, they could have budgeted to spend it.
Like
Okay?
if there was some money in the general fund,
No, I'm talking about, say, in the building and maintenance fund.
oh, okay.
That
Or
building
the
and site
IMRF
fund.
Right, yeah,
What
so
you
if
call
you
the
have
business.
money in a special purpose fund, then even if you don't levy for it anymore, you're able to go in and still spend the money that's in the fund. I have several libraries where they have, I think one of my libraries, I figured out, they have 100 years of expenditures in one fund. And so we zeroed out the levy. They created they used to have a workers' comp levy, and they have 100 years worth of expenses in their workers' comp fund. And so we just zeroed out the levy.
The dream.
Their annual expense is like $1,000. But they needed the money for the general fund, and so they just upped it. People long before I ever got involved with them. So just, again, start thinking of things at the fund level. Stop thinking of things all as one, because then it creates confusion about where money is really coming from. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Debbie?
Yeah, sure, yes.
But at the same time, if, within the general fund, we can move things around depending on the situation. The line items are not hard and fast.
Correct. That's what we're saying, yeah.
Yeah,
If
well,
something is not where it should be, that one can.
Right.
Yes.
Or if, anyway.
Well,
yeah.
thank you for coming out. I apologize for the last meeting. Appreciate your time.
If anybody has any further questions, feel free to email me. I'll be more than happy to do my best to email back to you, so that sometimes when I write things out, I'm able to write them and reread them and put them in a way that's understandable. But my goal is always to make sure you understand. So if there ever gets to the point where anything I said you still just don't understand, I will say it in 1,000 different ways if I need to help you try and understand, okay? So again, if you don't understand what I said tonight, just reach back out to me.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Bye-bye.
Have a great night.
Drive safe.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Before you begin.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to add the closed session minutes in with the consent agenda rather than down in unfinished business. I don't know why it's down there. It should be.
It was like that in the last agenda.
Yeah, and I don't know why it was, to me, it should be under the,
It's in the business
I,
for closed, closed session minutes.
number I, right, or letter I?
Yeah.
It's under new business, is that what you're
yeah,
talking
why
about?
should it be, I want to, when we go into.
Okay, so revise the consent agenda to include the minutes from the last meeting.
Of the closed sessions,
Oh, approval of the closed,
the two closed sessions.
you have the, okay, I get what you mean.
It lists 3 here, March.
November,
Are you
December.
talking about
January.
9?
9 letter I.
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 Yeah.
Do we have 3 there?
I believe we do.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
The 3, yes, all the closed sessions, no matter how many there. Well, let's put those in. the
November
consent.
16, 2022, December 14, 2022, and
January.
January 25th.
Okay, yeah.
And I think there was a typo on the payroll warrant for 323,
I was just
should be
gonna say that.
33, because we didn't
Yes,
hit
we made that change.
323.
Yeah.
We fixed it.
You did?
Yeah.
So what is it, 3?
33 instead of 323.
Number 2? Are you talking about number 2?
For
Payroll number 5.
8.5, or, yeah.
I mean, warrant 5.
For the pay, the last payroll warrant.
Oh.
It should be 339, 310.
Ah, I see. Next page. Okay, cool. Okay, let me think how I word this. Is there a motion to adopt, right, yeah, adopt the closed session minutes, the January financials, invoice, and payroll warrants?
To move it into the consent agenda.
And to
Do
move,
we need a motion, or because we're just, can't we, does it have to be exactly as stated in?
Well, probably because you already posted the agenda online and stuff, so you probably have to make a motion to move it.
yeah.
Okay, make a motion to accept the consent agenda with addition of the review of the minutes from the previous closed sessions for open meeting exec. That's what you want?
Yes, is there a motion to adopt that?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
All right, Natasha?
Yes.
Sam?
Yes.
Debbie?
Yes.
Sylvia?
Yes?
Marge, yes. Rosa?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, any questions on the regular meeting from January 25th, 2023? You okay? Do you need that?
I'm gonna pass out the closed session minutes,
Okay.
and you'll need to return them back to me when the meeting's over with, please.
Okay, so make sure we
Or-
return these.
No, collect them as soon as we're finished.
Why don't we vote and collect them?
Adopt it.
Pass.
Pardon?
Vote and collect them right away,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, okay.
This is Rose's.
Salmon. Thanks, Joanne. Thank you.
The second one from December 14th doesn't have a time it ended. Like the closed session ended at,
Oh, it just says you left
yeah,
and Danielle left.
And December 14th,
yeah, December 14th.
it says closed session. I think it ended at 7:45.
No, because I left, that's when I left.
7:45.
Yeah, that's when I specifically
I
left.
think it was like 9:45 probably.
No, it went after 2
No.
more hours?
Went out for a long time, didn't it?
That,
It was over there, it was in that room.
Okay, well, you can-
Oh, no, maybe it was
we'll look it up.
8:30.
It was at least half an hour.
I've got,
8:30 maybe?
I've got closed session ending at 8:29.
Oh, wow, that was fantastic one.
8:29.
That was a short meeting.
Okay, we could add that onto there.
Okay, yes, I would say we just gotta add that.
The only thing on November 16th, there was many other decisions. You know, now we're talking in open session, we can't be talking
Okay,
in open
so,
session about this. That's what I
Just
don't
question,
understand.
what are we doing right now?
We're just
Are
keeping
we
them
keeping them
closed, but
closed?
I'm saying that number 1 is not accurate, first page.
Which one?
First, from
November
November
16th?
16th. But this is not something that we could talk about in open session.
Okay, so then this is just for review, and then, like, specifically what to add, email, or after this, if you can speak to, March.
Okay.
So we are just reviewing them? We
We're
don't-
keeping them.
Yeah, well, we
closed.
were gonna see if we can approve them and put them in,
They're still gonna remain closed though.
yeah, they're still closed, but we just wanted to make sure these are, like, you know how we gotta approve the minutes from the last month? We gotta approve the closed session minutes. So we're not gonna approve these because there's a couple things left out for
Okay.
November 16th, so whatever you think should be added,
Okay.
let her know. For the December 14th, I'm saying add what time the meeting ended, and then anything else you guys,
Is there anything wrong
And
with the
You
on
can't
the
discuss
third
it because
page-
you have people that.
right, just anything generic, or if
And
there's something
then-
specific,
just This one,
email.
it has to be like formally changed, right? But someone changed it already?
Oh,
The date?
the January, changing it from January 24th to January 25th, so just make sure that we just update it correctly. Okay. Okay, so the first one, we'll just put Deb to meet with
With
Mark.
that- with that
Marge,
tie
maybe we
together.
can come to the library one day and meet up if you want.
In regards to what?
What else to
Yeah.
add to November
I mean,
16th?
do you want to put that in writing, or do you have to put that in writing, or you don't put that in writing?
Oh, what, when to meet up with her?
No, like close, what I wanted to add. I mean, it's not just up to me to add it.
Right, I
It's
think,
for review.
We have to go
in.
into closed session
And
again.
discuss it.
Well, we're gonna be in closed session, maybe we could just pass these in and agree whether Marge wants to add them, whether we all wanna add them.
yeah.
Again, is that something that we have to, have it on the agenda? Otherwise-
No, I think, because we're already going into closed session for that, I think it covers
But-
the.
For November 16th specifically, we're going to close session anyway about it,
Oh,
so we might be able to
Add
include
it
that in
then,
at
this.
least
right?
for that one.
Yep, just for that one specifically.
Give me the next,
Do we, okay, we can say, we can accept the other two as revised because the one is a typo error
Right,
and the other is just adding
it's,
a
the time is not on
So
there.
we can just say as approved as revised,
Okay,
Okay.
and we will make the necessary changes then.
okay, and the other one will still be closed then,
Okay.
okay.
Okay, so any other questions about the regular meeting minutes?
You all right?
Yes.
Any concerns about the financial report?
Wait, are we just passing this back in?
Oh,
yet.
yeah. We probably
Yeah, we'll have to
Because you're
hold
gonna-
on to those.
you're gonna
because
talk
we're
about it,
if we're
right?
gonna talk about them,
Right, Deb?
because we
Okay,
need them in front of us, at least for the November one, so let's just,
Hold on
since
to
we
it.
stick it together, we'll just.
collect them when you're done. I think it was-
Yeah.
Okay, just make sure we don't
Can
lose
I
those.
leave for a second?
Yeah, of course.
I thought they needed you to vote.
Oh, you did?
why didn't you bring the Gatorade jar?
Well, any questions so far on
You know,
financial
I
report?
just had a question, I don't think it needs Sam, is what's going on with that media box that it's broke? I mean, it's something about the LED backlight and only part of it works, and they're gonna send a tech out and all this stuff.
It's
But-
covered by
It's
warranty.
covered, but why are we waiting so long? I mean,
For them
what's,
to be able to come out for their availability.
they're that busy for media boxes? Oh, geez, I didn't even know anyone really used it that much.
Yeah, everyone loves it. It's
Really?
always down.
Well, is it,
Do they like it?
Yeah, they love it.
oh, yeah,
It's like a
that's-
red box, like you just, yeah.
Yeah.
And all the video games, all the like new stuff's in there. So
yeah, but when you get the DVD, it doesn't even say the description of the movie or anything on it.
On the screen it does, it's just because those cases to fit in there have to be so skinny,
Yeah.
so it's just like you get it.
well,
I
is it
know.
shut down completely, or is it just that it's?
I don't like
difficult
that
to
part
see
because
this
when you bring
electric-
it home, you can't even read anything. It's just this plastic thing, like.
You have to remember what you check out.
I'm sorry, go, Marge, what did you say? I'm sorry.
You made it sound as if, is the
I don't know,
machine
it's the
down,
whole,
or is
or
it just?
part of it's only working?
It's in the report, Margie, the new report.
Yeah, well, that's, Debbie brought it up.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why
yeah.
No, I'm asking like, why is it taking so long to get someone if we pay that maintenance and that contract, you know, that
Well, yeah.
you're waiting, because nobody wants to work, that's the answer. That's what I should have
Supply
said.
chain issues.
That's what I should have
I think
said.
you answered your own
Something.
question.
I should have said, you're right,
Shortage of-
you're right.
Shortage of
I'm gonna-
just answer or something like that.
Everywhere you see, help wanted, help
Yeah.
wanted. Everywhere.
So, oh, never mind.
Well, we can go forward even if Sam isn't here, if to
Oh, yeah.
approve the consent agenda, if we
Oh.
want to keep moving. keep
What are
things
these
moving.
playaway products, USB cords for Wonderbook?
The Wonder Books are books that have the little like.
Oh, is that the
audio-
talking one you
Yeah,
were
that
telling me
saw
about?
upstairs, Yeah, and they need USB cords to charge.
So what are we gonna do if they don't bring the, are they taking the
They get the-
USB cord home too?
Yeah, and it's all labeled and if there's a
So what if
pop-up
they
when you
lose
check
it or
in.
they don't return it, what are we
They have to
doing?
pay for it or they have to find it and bring it back.
Okay.
Yeah. They're like, I don't know, like.
Well, it was like 34 and to $200 and something dollars, so
Yeah, they have to pay.
$8 roughly.
Are they pretty good about bringing
Yeah.
everything back?
But this is something exciting, I think.
Yeah,
with,
they're all gone, everything we got, they're all shipped
the-
out, there's like one.
They
left.
are?
Mhm, they love
So
it.
that's why
And
it's
that was all
34
per
then it's for
capita,
those
so-
books.
I mean, it's good to me in a way, and it's bad in a way, because it's making us lazier and lazier and lazier. And now parents don't even want to read the book to the kid, it's reading itself. It's sad that way, but at least the kid is, you know,
Engaged in something.
doing something than sitting in front of the TV. Maybe they could teach themselves how to read with the voice talking, but it's sad that the parents are, one more thing to, go learn yourself, go teach yourself.
We don't have too much of a problem with things disappearing or
No, we've got really good
damage.
Good.
We don't have a,
Well,
large
that's
history.
good,
I mean,
because they
things-
probably know
yeah.
they might not be able to check it out next time then, so if they like it, don't break it.
All right, any concerns on financial report? Profit and loss report? Balance sheet? Check summary?
The only question I have, is it this?
Yep, that one's checked.
Is, why are we, Everest Snow is already billing us from 225 on 3/2? I mean, shouldn't we have like a cutoff where it's like 30 days? They just came out and then, or do they put the bill in the mailbox, or? I mean, why should they get paid in like 5 days later?
They send the bill via email.
But shouldn't it be like monthly we're gonna be doing it, or?
I think they send it real time.
They usually send it, once the service is done, they usually send it within the next week. Usually.
But should it, that's going forward, shouldn't we be telling, I thought we were gonna try to tell vendors that they're gonna get paid after our board
Well,
meeting, so
I
it's
have
gonna
told
be
them. I have
30
told them.
days.
I
When's the
did-
due date, even though
From-
they give you the
It's
bill and
usually
everything?
30 days from the date that's listed on. the-
Oh, okay, so you don't have to pay, we're
No,
just,
no, right,
okay,
right.
so they give us the bill really quick, and we're
But we
proactively
still have
paying.
the 30 days, and they are aware, I did email them telling them that checks are only signed once a month,
Okay,
and the meeting is the fourth Wednesday of the month, so checks will normally be mailed out the following day, which would be the Thursday.
okay,
So they're aware.
okay, cool. Okay, any other questions on the check summary?
The security camera maintenance. That one's been broken for so long. When you mean maintenance, do you mean they're just, what is maintenance? What is security camera maintenance?
It's for the whole system, the one in admin.
So that one is still broken, has been broke. Isn't that covered by them, or what are we
Is
paying
it,
them for?
I don't know if it's the cameras, physically the cameras, or if it's just the whole like, hard drive.
It's the whole
with all the
system, I
cameras.
believe.
The one that's upstairs with, that all the cameras are into.
So
That
like
hard drive
the
system.
outside itself is not, did we buy that, or is it under warranty, or why has it been out so long?
That wasn't my.
I've asked that question before and no answer.
Yeah, I wasn't involved in the obtaining it, the contract, anything like that, so I couldn't answer that.
Do we have a contract with them, do we know?
We do with Stanley and it's up in April.
I think it's up in April.
April? Yeah.
So did we get the other two security quotes yet, or no?
No, they'll have them to us by March 27th.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll have to try to look at those at the next meeting and decide, because what if we don't want to sign with that Stanley?
Are you
then-
gonna have available that contract for the next meeting?
They should have,
Renewal.
they should have these Securitas, as Stanley's now Securitas, and then Pace should submit quotes by the 22nd, so those will be available.
Okay, so I wish for us to know what's included in that monthly maintenance fee that we are paying all the time.
I feel like it's, I don't think it's physically the cameras, I think it's the upkeep of the camera system.
Like the cloud, or wherever they pretend?
Yeah.
video is?
Yeah,
That's a monthly maintenance fee?
no?
Yes.
is it monthly? 300
I think
a
it
month?
said, yeah, three,
Okay,
it's one
then it
month,
must be, yeah,
$300
it's a
something
month.
a month, so that's
you
why I'm
could
saying
check
if
that.
it's been broken
Like the
for
hard
6
drive.
months.
I mean, we have working camera.
For a minimum of
Yeah.
6 months that I know of.
Okay, so, monthly maintenance fee, what does that cover? What does that
Does it
include?
cover-
What is it for?
Broken camera as well, it's just like the cloud storage or whatever,
Right.
server for the cameras.
Like maintenance
That's the
could
word. I
mean
feel
so
like
many
it's the-
things.
I feel like
Could
it's
mean
maintenance of
it's a
server
lot.
is what I'm thinking, because I don't think it's physically the cameras. I think that would be something different, because the cameras cost separately than the whole.
Yeah, but what if it's something like just detached, I mean, they're not gonna even check it, or?
They'll
Depending
probably
if it's
charge
the
you
old-
then.
Yeah. I mean, is it included in that or not?
Or after all this time, did we buy the cameras? Like, they're ours, we don't really know,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
And what's going on with these, are they called those power pin balls?
The what?
Pitney Bowes, the postage, is it for that?
Oh, the Pitney Bowes?
Yeah. Meter refill.
Yeah, what are we mailing anymore?
There's a variety of stuff. We mail the checks, they mail DVDs back, they mail books back, and just occasional mail, like usually sometimes when they do the summer reading, they send out the donation requests.
It's a
Letters
requirement,
out.
right, because we're part of the, what is it called, Swan? Royals?
Yeah,
No,
and then if
Swan
we-
has their own service.
system, but if we get books from outside our system, like, they pay to mail them to us, and then we have to pay to mail them back. That's why we have to wait it to post them.
And how often is it used?
Do you know, off the top of your head?
Not, I'm gonna tell you, not
OCLC?
often, maybe once a
I'm
month.
sorry? How much does OCLC use, would you think, out of system?
Well, I know Ron told me out of state it was maybe like once or twice a month, like out of state stuff.
For Odyssey?
Yeah.
Not too often.
Take it.
Yeah, and I don't think that's something that we have to offer. Because we belong to Swan Catalog, and we are paying for the Swan membership, and there's a huge amount of books there. I mean, I've gotten books from different libraries before.
I don't know if that's like a requirement to be certified, let me look into it, like to be certified as a library to be part of SWAN, if we have to offer OCLC, so let me look into it and see.
Yeah, I mean, Swan is
I thought
fine,
we
you
looked into
know.
this. I thought we
For
looked into
I don't think so. I think that's something extra that we do. Because if we don't, I mean, it's too much money to pay for this, how much is it, these paintables?
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth it to have it. I
Oh,
mean,
the new one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, my opinion's not
I
worth
mean, the
it.
postage machine?
It's
Yeah,
like $1,800.
Oh, shit.
But we're gonna start doing,
just to get the machine.
we're gonna start doing all the bill paying, most of it, not all, online with a click. I mail one letter, maybe 2 letters a
Oh,
month.
yeah,
I mail.
it's probably, just might as well just go where the post office.
Get a roll of stamps. The mailbox is right here if you have to mail a check. And if you have a book once a month,
You don't even have to go outside, just
I mean,
leave it
we're
for the
paying
mailman
people
in the front.
mileage to go to Central Stickney, why not stop at the post office? If someone's willing to do it, if we have to belong to it, if we don't have to belong to it, why are you stressing the staff out for 1 book a month, or 2 books a month?
Well, if it's something we can just keep doing and just go to the post office, we can do that.
Yeah.
Right, that's what
I,
I,
yeah,
we
I'm
don't
just
reimburse.
agreeing of purchasing.
Yeah,
it.
Right, for the
that's
mileage.
quite- I mean, that's a lot of money.
well, and then when I saw
you
put a
think-
dust cover on it, I'm thinking, well, we must not use it too
You think
much.
they would give it to you free? I mean, I just.
Because you
In
have
the
to
old
buy the
days, I
refill.
think they did that. They would
Yeah.
come and give you the postage machine as long as you refilled the postage
Yeah.
and used their postage. Not anymore.
Huh. What a
Not
gimmick.
anymore.
It's
Everything
probably going up
costs money.
online,
Forget
so
it.
it's probably, like, stamps are going up, so probably the facilitates for the.
Yeah,
You
I
buy it
just-
all stamped, there's how many
You're the one
stamps
that
inside?
sends out the stuff. How much stuff?
Well, if
how
they
many
give you the
letters do
postage,
Wait,
but
are
they
we
don't give
getting
you
out
the
of order? We're
postage,
talking
you
about
just
things
give
out of
the
order,
machine.
Rosa.
Do we, okay, are we talking about things out of order?
No,
Well,
it's
wait,
about the checks for pin
As
balls.
far as
Okay.
The person
Okay.
who sends out the stuff is Joanne for the most part, and nobody has asked her how many letters she sends out.
Natasha clearly just looked at her and asked her, how often are we using the machine? Or what are we mailing? And she said, we're mailing checks, we're mailing books, we're mailing
But,
everything, and she didn't have a number, that's why she asked the young lady.
well, she asked about the books.
Right.
Nobody asked about how many letters.
It's gonna be much less letters.
How many
because
letters,
I
Joanne? Because now we're gonna be going online to pay bills.
Well, right now, it's quite a few, and it depends on the time of the year. If, again, like I said, if they're doing, trying to do donations for a summer reading program, they send out, I know, youth services and adult services send out letters to the different, businesses throughout,
Okay.
you know.
What's quite a few? That's not a number. Like, is it 5 is quite a few?
No,
If you can
Is
get stamps
10
on
quite a
Amazon.
few?
I would say about maybe 40 or 50 or 60, 70.
By roll
A
stamps,
month?
there's 100 in there.
A month?
Again, it depends
Roll
on.
stamps,
the-
there's
Roll
100
stamps
stamps
is
here.
100,
Yeah, then
yes.
you can get it on Amazon.
You good?
Yeah, we're not,
Yes.
you, stamps you buy
Jewel,
on Amazon?
Amazon.
Jewel,
anyplace.
yes, I buy mine at Jewel.
You can get them on Amazon.
Okay, so did the check already get mailed out for that? Is that?
No, it didn't, because I didn't understand what does meter refill is. Did we already
I hate
purchase
this two
meter
packets
refill?
here,
Because,
I'm confused now.
did we
What was
already
that?
purchase this
confused now.
meter
What we are?
refill for Pinky Balls?
Because I'm on the
You
old
can
packet
send
too,
me,
right?
take the
Oh,
book
it's in
to
addition to.
taking
The
book
check
to
is
the-
from
No,
0
That would be circulation.
No.
Yeah.
Get them on. Here we go.
Where's
It's
the,
on the old packet from January, or from,
that's what I'm looking at, but I can't look, where's do we have a bill for the
it was
machine?
it was in the packet. It was in the packet. Hang on.
Well, I have meter refill from 216.
Let me see. Not
Did
that.
you already got the meter refill, that we got to, this is what we have to pay?
Well, that's what we have to pay for that period of time, yes. It's something that we need to.
So this meter refill, $200, you already used that, right?
It's to refill the meter, yes, and it's the date on the, if you.
But I
pay-
thought it said the meter was
Oh, so it
expired.
was refilled on January 13th, and you used since then, right? That's what we are paying?
We've been using it, right.
But did you say the meter's expired or something? Where's that piece of paper?
I thought it said that the.
Was it
it's
the
out
packet
of
where you
date.
gave us,
Yeah, out of date.
whose report was it under?
I suggest not to get it and buy 2-3 rolls of stamps.
Postage machine is out of date. Spoke with
Oh,
representative
yeah.
from Pitney Bowes regarding a new postage machine. Quote
And then-
submitted.
And then the quote was there. Where is it?
Also, that was not in the check, never mind. That's why I was confused.
No, that's not in the check.
Or where is it?
So the
I
check is
don't-
only for this
I
thing.
didn't see the quote.
It was in there somewhere. Hang on.
Yeah, I know,
There's a
I've
lot of
seen something
pages.
about it, yeah.
I saw 16 or 1800.
It's item E.
Here it is, from Joanne. It's in between the quotes from the signs and all that.
Oh, we're jumping.
Where is it?
What's part of the transaction list that they're? looking
So,
at?
so this check I have to
So
sign,
here,
that's for meter refill, right?
$1,200 if you want to
Yeah.
buy it. Yeah, $1169.17. Weighing options, fee, it sounds like a Cadillac of going
No.
to the post office.
I agree. I don't think we need to buy
I
it.
don't think so either.
You could buy a roll of stamps and, like you said, put it in the postbox.
And if there's a bulk mailing, it should be a postcard, it should be cheaper if you're gonna send out something. One person can go to the library and pay all at one time. Okay, so that's weird.
Okay, so we'll hold off on that check
So
for,
the meter refill, you mean you already
What
did?
the meter refill is already spent and we've used it.
That's
and
what I'm asking.
The $200, right, that one's
Right,
already,
that one
that one's a
we
valid check.
Yes.
We've
Yes.
used it.
Okay, but the other one is not in the check. I remember reading it, but it wasn't
That's
sure.
under, yeah, it'll be a new
Okay,
business,
never
we'll
mind.
discuss it a little further. Mhm.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask, just about the
Okay.
check.
Any other questions on checks?
Not really.
Do you still need time?
No, I don't think so, Rosa, I'm too confused, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Okay, any questions on the warrants?
The warrants, no, just that we gotta change the
For the
date
checks and
on
warrants, right?
The date number 5, invoice and payroll warrants, the number 5,
And then the
When you
second one,
update
invoice
it
warrant
online.
should be dated 3/6/2023.
367.
What?
Okay, so under warrants, the number 2 where it says invoice warrants in the amount of $12,416.
Yeah.
That one should reflect the date of 3/6/23. And then number 5, the one that says the payroll warrant in the amount of $21,280. That one should be 3/3.
Okay.
All right, any questions?
No.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
So first you gotta adopt, and then approve.
We adopted.
We did that
We already
originally,
adopted
before we
it.
went through all this.
Right.
So then now is there a motion to approve the consent
But
agenda?
how does that work when there are things that we're going to question?
What are we
Like the
questioning?
minutes, where those aren't being approved?
So is there a motion to approve the consent agenda with the,
The exception. of-
financials, invoice and payroll warrants with, we are excluding the closed session minutes?
Well, we're going to take the,
We're still gonna talk about it, and I think we'll, turn these in, and then we'll approve them in the next meeting. I think it's the best way to go about it. We're gonna have to revise it, and,
well, the only one that was, the question was, you
November
said
16th?
November, which was going to be covered under a closed session. The other two are strict,
okay, so let me go by
As
dates.
corrected, as corrected.
Why don't you just take it out of the agenda? Like
Yeah.
pieces of it, approval of the minutes. I think you're gonna have to, because the approval of the minutes, I think has this typo with the library FOIA request and OMA request for review. But here you just have OMA request, that's not a thing, Open Meeting Act request. So I think you have to add review or discussion.
That's the meeting minutes for the last
Yeah.
minute, the last meeting?
There's no such thing as OMA request, unless it's request review or review for request, but like, it's not a FOIA, you don't request the OMA.
So how would you word that?
Possible OMA violation or review OMA requests from,
Well, it says OMA.
from PAC.
Where, I'm sorry, where, this is
Like,
January
under
minutes?
act minutes,
Uh-huh, January
maybe
minutes.
for an OMA request from PAC, maybe you have to add.
Yes, where?
But that's where it was, for library FOIA requests.
Page
It
4
says
at the
the
bottom.
trustees
Oh,
discuss
okay,
the
thank
recent
you.
FOIA
Page
and
4.
OMA requests, but you don't really request the OMA. It's a thing, unless OMA review requests from PAC, right? Does that make sense? Is that who requested it from you? I mean, reviewed it for you, the PAC?
Is that what it's called?
Is that a thing? I thought I saw it, like abbreviation. I mean, or if you think it's right, then let it go.
Any other board members' opinions on that?
What are you saying?
So she's saying it's not, it shouldn't be titled OMA request, because an OMA is not a request, Open Meetings Act. This was the violation that,
It was like a discussion of OMA from PAC, request from PAC, maybe.
Or just request for review, I think is what.
Request for review, okay.
okay, then, in regards to approving all this,
So we're approving the minutes with the license plate renewal to discontinue, that's already on there, so I don't know why it was on this agenda, it's in the minutes already. Are we just, I mean.
what are you talking about now? In the,
Like, it's in the minutes, just before we flip and forget about it. We're
Yeah.
gonna approve the minutes that the license plates renewal is discontinued. But then today we're talking about it again under unfinished business, so.
because it's unfinished business, because the accounts. How are we gonna talk about the accounts? Or is that on
The
agenda?
account, but we're discontinuing the program.
The renewals.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, but to still speak.
okay, that's all I got.
Okay, so then, okay, let me think to where this is.
What was up?
Yeah.
You didn't do a motion to adopt yet.
Yes, we did.
The motion that
Natasha
you did
did.
was to move
Revise.
the closed sessions in, minutes into the, consent agenda. That's what you guys did.
No, it was to add the closed,
We adopted consent agenda with adding
So that's.
the closed session minutes
So
in
you're
it.
using that one, okay.
But we didn't yet vote on approving it,
Yeah.
right?
Sounds good.
But we're
Thank you
not
for checking.
doing the closed session minutes now.
Okay, so then I'm gonna say, let's,
approve the consent agenda without the closed session minutes from da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
and with the revision of,
It's only the 11/16 that was not.
See, we just complicated, just putting it in.
yeah.
Did anticipate.
Alright, so is there a
Major
motion
revision.
to approve the consent agenda with the January 25th minutes with the revision of, changing line F from OMA request to review from the PAC? The January financials and the invoice and paper warrants dated, February 3rd, February 17th, and March 3rd. And the closed session minutes of only December 14, 2022, with the revision of adding the ending time of 8:29. And the closed session minutes of January 25th, 2023, fixing that typo from the 24th to the 25th.
Wait, question. When we approve these closed session minutes, are they staying closed or they're being open?
No, it's
They're
staying
staying
closed.
closed.
They're closed. We're just approving the minutes,
Oh, okay.
just like you.
But they're still closed?
Yeah, they're still closed.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a whole nother,
Meeting topic.
That's why I'm
Action, yeah.
confused.
Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion, we approve everything you said.
All right, thanks.
you know, that you. All
He
right.
told it to me.
Who's gonna second that?
Sam said.
Sam did.
Sam, okay. So Natasha,
Yes.
Sam,
Yes.
Debbie,
Yes.
Sylvia? Yes, I'm
Yes.
tired. Oh, Marge, yes, Rosa.
Yes.
Oh,
It's easier, right, when you see? Okay, moving on to, where am I? Secretary's report. Any questions or comments on, or anything you want to add?
No correspondence, but we just got a $200 donation from Joe Pollock, who's from a landlords association in Forest Park that just disbanded.
From where? I'm sorry.
Landlords Association.
What does that mean?
They used to meet here, so they just gave us a donation because they disbanded.
Oh, that's
Oh, that's nice.
Very nice. I never heard of that. Yay.
Sorry for that. but thank
Yeah.
you.
Sorry for you, Miss Singh.
And,
Thank you, Landlords Association.
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
Okay, cool. Any other, questions on correspondence stuff? No? Okay, your director's report.
I don't, does anyone have any questions or anything? I don't really. The quotes will be ready for the next meeting for the 2 security camera quotes. And the sign quotes, we just have the one. That's in the report. That's about it.
Yeah, well, when we get to that, we could, those were old quotes we got in the report, very old quotes, so basically we can't even use those. Because I'm sure with inflation and everything else, they're not even close to it. One was from like August of '21, so figure a year and a half later, you know they're gonna add a 1,500 to 3,000 more. And those signs aren't the same size or anything, like one includes electric, one doesn't, so we have the,
Well, those were ones that we already had, and I reached out to Great Signs.
and what happened with them, that's the ones we like.
They
me and
haven't,
Sylvia.
I've emailed twice and I've phoned twice, and they have not gotten back to us.
Really? Maybe we have a liaison at the village that we know,
I got the contact from Mitch to reach out to them.
that he could place the call himself, possibly.
So just quickly, what's wrong with the door? It's the one over there?
The one in the park entrance, see like the silver box thing at the top where the hinge thing is?
Yeah.
They're like 25 years old because they were installed with the original doors and they're starting to leak oil, so they need to be replaced.
Okay.
And
But it's
have-
That's on the inside of the library.
Both,
I
yeah,
mean,
both, yeah. Like there's one on each door. So one's inside the vestibule and one's inside the library.
And Stanley Access Technologies is the one that does that?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
They're called Allegiant now, I think. They're changing names, but they will send a quote for those.
Oh, they're gonna send a quote? Okay.
There's always something.
Well,
He
I mean, we
estimates
need it
about
fixed,
6,000 total.
honestly, if it's not outrageous, we need it fixed. You don't want that oil leaking and someone spilling,
Or
It'll
slippery.
be like
That's all
3,000
you
bucks,
need is
it'll be
having
about
that.
6,000
Geez,
estimated.
that much for a
Yeah.
box?
What?
Yeah, he said about 3,000 for each one.
Never mind, get the quote.
I would go to the door
Say like
business.
300, 100?
300 each.
Yeah, but they're leaking like outside on it or just
On
inside
like
of
where
the
the
box?
screws, where it's
I mean,
screwed
is
in,
it gonna-
it's not dripping, it's like
Okay.
oozing out, so,
Okay.
yeah, it's starting.
Yeah, so it's not gonna go
And they're
anywhere.
at the end of the life, so.
Well, I know that happened when I had the laundromat, but I don't remember no 3,000.
Inflation.
You get a single door, this is
That was pre-COVID prices, probably.
These are different doors.
Different
Yeah.
doors that say they might be heavier, and also those are the handicapped.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So that's,
Yeah.
there's
You're
a,
right, with the button?
yeah.
No, so what, those are the other, this is this one.
No, it's not.
No, the one
No,
on Park
apartment.
Avenue is the one that they.
Yeah, but you have the button, you know, when you press the button and it opens it by itself, that's what she's talking about, right?
Yeah, so that's, that's
All the
another,
maintenance and stuff.
another thing that gets in there.
Yeah.
It's probably a heavy grease, not necessarily oil.
Okay,
But this
so
one's okay.
that was my question from the
Yeah.
records
Yeah, I know,
report.
but nobody, but as long as they were out here, did you have them check these? If they're all 25 years old,
Yeah.
they might be tagged for these?
No, they looked at both,
That's
but that's,
good.
well, those are older because they came in with the
I'm
90.
saying, as long as you get
No,
the labor
he's-
and they're here. you
No,
can
he
check
said
them all.
those are fine. we
They're
just
probably
need
charging
that. Yeah.
600 just to come out.
No, they looked at them both when they were here, but that. And actually, it was part of whatever we have with them, they came out to inspect everything, and then the guy came back the next day to show me what was wrong with that one. So this one's good, so.
And what was going on with the lockers, with the Wi-Fi? Was that
The
done?
Wi-Fi kept going in and out, we called OSG and they did it remotely, I don't know why. And then with the key situation,
Yeah,
there's
that
one
was
master
crazy.
key and it's missing, we couldn't find it anywhere. And then, Ron reached out to request a key and they said, okay, we'll send one. But then they emailed back and said, no, call a locksmith. So then I reached out to a locksmith and then we received like 10 minutes later a FedEx package with keys, so. I was like, never mind.
Nobody could get it together,
I
right?
know, yeah, no
Okay,
communication.
maybe we should make a spare copies of that?
We did, yeah.
Good call, good call.
And put one set in safe?
Yeah, I think he made 2 or 3 copies.
Okay, and then we have no training. Are we supposed to be doing some training on our own instead of watching Beth and Susie or whatever their
I
names
do
are?
like those videos, but these meetings have been going on for a really long time, so I'm trying to.
But I mean, is there something
limit.
online we should be going to look at? Remember how we did the sexual harassment and the OMA and is there something, because don't we need like a year or
There's
every
like
year?
one class a year. And I know, you guys are, I don't know if you guys get the emails, but there's like conferences that they hold. We are allowed to go to them.
I would say, if the director could look in to see if those trustee training might be available online.
There are.
And we could watch them by ourselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me
Right?
look and I'll send you guys.
Well, if they were offered
they let
online,
us.
then you could,
Okay.
There's a lot, and there's stuff that's archived too, that might be
Oh, God, that's gonna be
beneficial.
older than Sue and Beth.
Yeah,
You know
let's
what I'm
look at that.
Well, not like
They're gonna
1980s
be
jury
riding their
videos,
dinosaurs.
But there's
well,
a
some,
lot.
yeah, but see, some of the training is, it's
Repetitive.
timeless.
Right.
It's not specific.
It wasn't even true, but you have to take it, so, okay. Comment from the public, none? The mayor always has to say something.
Committee report, none.
Okay, so department head reports, no questions on that? Committee reports, none?
We don't have committees.
All right, and any comments from the public?
Mayor, you're not speaking today?
No, the only I would say, if the salt guy comes out again, you guys need some, call me, that was horrible. That was way too much salt.
I
You guys-
emailed them
Can
and
he-
said, what are you doing? Yeah,
Did they come sweep it or not?
no, we swept it.
It was like clumps and
If you need
clumps,
help,
and we
yeah,
had
I
to
wanna
pay
know,
for
have
that,
them
right?
sweep it. Thank God that rain came, I think it washed a lot of it away. That was horrible.
Yeah.
Well, they wanted to get that money, I mean, that's,
They're overcharging so much, it's
it was like
crazy.
4 times in one night, the library's not even open, I mean.
It was raining and they came 4 times to put the salt. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's bad. Well, we gotta get ahead of it, like right now, for the next agenda, we should be having
I mean,
quotes
if
from
we
the
get a snow,
landscaping.
something like that, I will not question it at all, but like, it was not even freezing,
No.
and they came 4 times.
So is it
And
expected?
one was overnight, yeah, it was 175, 175, 175, and 375 for
Yeah.
overnight.
That was
So
crazy.
just for one day, and there was
Like $800
nothing.
and some dollars.
Well,
And
You
we
can
weren't even
see it in
open.
the-
What was
it
the
just says-
projected weather?
Right, I mean, they have,
I assume they're, like, I'd
Well,
rather
if
too
you
much
want
than
to
too
do it
little,
once and you come
but.
in, the salt is still there, and nothing is coming out, I mean, why are you throwing it again?
Salt's still there, trust me.
Yeah, it'll be there for a while.
The 3
yeah,
snowfalls.
no,
So
I
we need to
understand,
start
I
getting
understand
quotes
that,
for
but I
landscaping now,
also-
too.
Yeah,
And
they gotta
I
put
said
the
I'm
weather
happy to
in.
call,
It was too much.
and see
Yeah.
if
And
you
there was
want me to get
nothing.
the
There was
address and
something
see if
else,
I could
okay.
get quotes. Rosa,
That's
I'm
it.
happy to call them
We
when
don't
I'm
want
at
anybody
work,
to fall down.
when I
Yeah,
have
if
a
you
little
don't- I mean-
downtime. You know, I said that before. I
That's not what they
the previous
predicted, they predicted the Holocaust.
Administrator too. If you want me to, I'll try to get 3 quotes if you have someone specific. I think the landscaper too, that mulch charge was like out the ceiling.
You're saying, well,
So we should get 3 quotes like now for landscaping.
That's what I was
For
saying.
the next agenda, maybe we should put that on there. And
Because next thing you know it, we're gonna do the
we're
grass.
gonna, right, they're gonna be out here in April.
well, we have
So-
different people, no? Don't we have,
Landscaping?
yeah, we have a different landscaper versus
Yes,
snow people.
than the snow people, but
Yeah.
it's still,
Yeah.
I remember right when I got on, they charged like $900 for the mulch and it wasn't even fully covered by the door there. It was like, the black stuff was still sticking out. It's a little outrageous, so, and I think there's, what was their lawn service, like, once, no. It was high, I remember, but I'm happy to get the quotes if you guys don't mind, and I'll just
I
bring
didn't
them.
like them for 2 years, 3 years.
You what?
I didn't like them for 2 years, and I
Yeah.
was complaining. They're overcharging.
And I'll just email Joanne and she can put it in the packet if you guys want, I'll see.
Not doing good, but,
All right, if there's no public comments, we'll move on to new business.
okay.
Um,
Okay, what's this new, we are talking twice about the server, so what is this one?
This is the physical server backup, not the cloud. So he recommends this for security for the, what is it, where? Cybersecurity. It's for cybersecurity to physically back things up because we don't have cloud storage right now. But then we looked and there's something we got from IT staff and we have to look into about a physical server.
So wait, that's not the thing, okay.
This is not what he talked about last time about the cloud storage.
To back up whatever we have in the server, because we're already doing that. So this is not that, okay.
think this is
So
what
this
that
is
is.
something to,
This would be physical backup, not a cloud backup.
but we are doing physical backup.
We think, right? I don't know. Joanne reached out to OSG because we just got a invoice from IT Savvy that said physical backup, but we don't work with IT Savvy, so we have to find out if OSG knows anything about what we have.
So we're putting this under tabling till next time unfinished business. Okay.
Okay, I just don't understand, okay.
we have some motion for that, right? Table to,
Make a
motion.
motion to talk about,
Second.
move it to the next agenda until we get them more information.
All right. Is there a second?
Why do we,
I said-
why do we have to move on it?
If you're tabling something, you have to put it on, like, and then you gotta bring it back on the table for
No,
the next meeting.
all right. Okay, so Debbie, you,
Made the motion.
okay,
I second it.
okay, thank you. Thank you.
We did get the tokens though, they're coming out, when are they coming out, 23rd, 24th?
I still don't get that. I don't know if, it reminds me of a carnival. Is it physical token?
It
or
looks
is
like a little
It's a
flash
little-
drive, kind of, and it's got a little screen on it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, now, on this motion to table this till next month, Natasha?
Yes.
Okay, Sam? Yes. Debbie?
Yes.
Sylvia?
Yeah.
Marge, yes, Rosa?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so then the reference assistant position. So, this is the one, our last one resigned, it's a part-time. Have we already put it up? Do we need to approve
I
the
think we were
wording?
waiting on.
So which position are we talking about?
For Margaret's whole position, the 19 hour.
But she was the reference assistant, she was,
She was reference assistant.
no, she was a librarian.
She was, oh, well, I mean, you could post for a librarian, but a reference assistant.
Oh, okay, that's why I was confused, because I know she was the one gone.
Oh, I
Is
didn't
anybody else
realize.
gone? Because she was a part-time librarian.
If she, well, then whatever she was, I thought she was an assistant, that's fine.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought maybe somebody else gone.
So I
Okay,
guess
so,
part-time reference position. If
Okay.
you want to do assistant or librarian, it's,
no, let's go with this one.
okay.
Because I think we have two other qualified people, overqualified people in that department that we don't need another one. So what are we talking about, making the,
Okay, so we are gonna post for it, right? Without that, we're short-staffed. Okay, do we have, the listing
I
yet?
thought
for
we
it?
were, I thought we were they were supposed to come to the board with the salary, the hours, what they were gonna do. I thought that's what the bylaws say,
like,
that we
the
all
same way we
agreed on.
did for the director's position, like, bring,
I mean,
make something
the
else we can
replacement
approve.
person was working like an average of 7 hours. There's no one that could work 7 hours. I mean,
Well, that's why they're
what
short-staffed,
are
was
they
because she
doing?
was only
What
working 7 hours.
was she doing? She didn't even know the computer work. So she was, what was she doing?
She helped cover the desk during programs.
Right, so it's not even that you need a person for that, because she wasn't doing that job, and it was only 7 hours a week. She was covering breaks and,
But there, I come in here and I see Joanne at the front desk when I'm with the kids on Thursdays. I think if you have the
Then you
director
need- well,
or even
first of all,
Joanne.
you need better scheduling. If you look at the schedule, if that's the real schedule, I'm not saying that we don't need help if we need help, but you don't need every person here. I understand everybody wants to work 8 to 5, that's great. Everybody wants to work 9 to 5, that's great, but it's not realistic for the amount of things that are going on in the library. You have to utilize the people that you have. I mean, you have 5 people in youth services, you can't have them all there on one day unless you have programs going. So either the schedule is wrong that I'm getting, that when I ask for the schedule, that looks like 13 people are in the library all at one time, and then when I come here to talk to someone, there's 3 patrons here with no craft going on. So that kind of part, I'm not understanding that. And then to come and say, we're short-staffed, we're short-staffed, we're short-staffed, you have to utilize the staff that you have. You know, the
There's
same
staff
thing when
here.
Joanne was coming
Okay,
7:30 to
now, here's the thing
3:30.
though. Danielle is leaving.
Uh-huh.
We will not have a director, so in one sense, there's no point talking about it until we get a new director.
No point of talking about what, hiring a part-time?
Well, what Debbie's bringing
staffing
up
or
about
anything
staffing
else.
and all of that, there's nobody here that's going to be
There's
doing that.
department heads that are making their schedule that they should be. There's an interim for Danielle's job that should be making the schedule. There's a circulation head making a schedule. There's a popular services making a schedule. Those people, there are heads, there's department heads. Regardless of the library director being here, he doesn't make the schedule.
Well,
that I'm aware of.
Yes and no, of course, don't forget there's vacations and stuff like that.
Okay.
And
So that's,
program profit.
yeah, so that's, you are right as far as that's concerned, but I'm throwing in the caveat, that we've got vacations and stuff like that, that's where the director would come in, because they're seeing all of this, each department is seeing.
But, so which department are we saying that we need someone? Do we
Okay.
need someone at the reference desk? She's saying that's mostly what Margaret was doing, so.
I think they could do more programs if they had someone working 19 hours is what it is. They're kind of limited in what they can do because they didn't have another person that could do computer classes or another book club or book talks. So if they had the 19-hour person, they could do more.
Okay. So in your opinion, it's necessary?
Yes,
And it would be beneficial to the library for us to hold more programs?
correct.
Okay.
I don't think the person needs to be 19 hours if we need someone else.
We just had someone resign because she wasn't working the 19 hours.
Right, and she got away with it just fine. This is not the same job she's doing. This is not the librarian.
That was just a
She
typo.
resigned because she was a librarian for 19 hours. This is a new position. reference
That's a typo.
assistant.
Danielle said that was a typo.
I
Well,
got you.
a librarian has to be qualified and has to have schooling and makes more money, so maybe this person is better. We already have 2 people with
It-
masters.
It would be,
That's what
yes,
I said.
it would be
It would be
beneficial,
19-hour person.
it would be beneficial to keep the title as reference assistant position instead of,
Correct.
yes, librarian. I would like to see a part-timer here for the required hours that we originally wanted.
What are we saying that their
What
job
is-
duties are?
Why is it 19 hours? Why isn't it
It's because
20
if
hours?
it's 20, it goes into IMRF time. You have to see
Oh,
under
okay.
1,000 hours a year or IMRF gets.
So what is the duties gonna be? See, this is where we said that the person was the director was gonna bring us, or that department head was gonna write up the person they needed, what their duties was gonna be, and what their pay was gonna be. We can't just say, start looking for someone, we don't even
Well, do we
know.
have a job description for reference assistants? We have a
We
job
have one
description
For, Margaret, yeah.
for assistant or like?
No, not for
we
Margaret
get it.
position. This is a different different
So
position,
we
we're
do
saying.
have one for the program assistant.
It's a position in that department,
Ivan-
we're doing different
Ivan
things.
is basically a reference assistant. Ivan is that.
Okay,
So we can use Ivan's job description as post, and it would be the same duties, programs, reference, computer help, readers advisory.
Oh, can you print us all copies right now so we can approve if that's
You
what we
want
would like?
The one for
to post
Ivan?
for.
Sure.
I think you would be okay with 10 hours. I don't think you need somebody for that many hours.
But I think then why were we
Joanne-
requiring the
Joanne,
previous
the salary
person
too.
to work
She
19?
never did, that's why. She was hired for 19. This person is not being hired for 19.
But we made it an issue, where now you're saying that was,
For a
is an issue?
librarian, for her duties,
What if she-
for her job that she,
Because then she can
When
reapply.
she reapplies for 10 hours.
she could reapply.
Okay.
We don't have to hire her, but she can reapply. If she wants to work 10 hours and she wants to be a reference assistant, that's different than a 19-hour librarian. That's what she was, correct, Natasha?
Yeah.
So we're not hiring a librarian.
Mhm.
So we're not replacing Margaret, we're hiring a reference assistant,
Like another Ivan.
Another Ivan, yeah.
not a librarian.
No, no, because we have two people with master's degree in that department, and I think we need another librarian. You know what I mean? Like, they're already super qualified.
This isn't a really academic library, so it's kind of
Yes.
overkill, yeah, to have.
So,
But I would say if you thought that being here for 7 hours wasn't enough, 10 hours is,
I think we could go over it in closed session, what we discussed. I don't think it's appropriate to talk
have
about
a great
it.
night, guys.
Good night.
Good night, you guys, thank you. Have a good one.
All right, I'll be-
Okay, so, let's hold on to that for a second, but, this title, the reference assistant position, that would bring more activities, like we'll do
It
it
would,
out.
yeah, for sure.
And then they can also cover the desk when activities are taking place?
Mhm.
Okay. In your opinion, is 19 hours necessary, should it be less, should it be more, what's,
We post with the 19-hour positions, 15 to 19 usually, were the old job descriptions before we redid them last year or the year before.
okay.
So you could say 15 to 18 hour.
Well, why don't we get the person, instead of hiring a new one, why don't we get the person that's in the youth department that's not working 19 hours then, what she was hired for?
They're all working now.
They are now?
Mhm.
Okay, because they weren't before.
No, they had time to adjust their school schedules and their other jobs, so now Isabel's 18 and Verna's 16 and a half. She has a full-time job, so that's her availability with Berwin. She's been here for like, 15, 20 years.
Okay, so
And
you
it's
said,
different skills, like youth couldn't necessarily help in reference. And reference couldn't necessarily help in youth, it's different skill sets.
I have an email that says everyone in this library is cross-trained from Rosa.
and
Yes,
that's
for
why we're
every job.
aiming cross-training.
Yeah, not everyone is, that's always been a goal, but it's not happening.
Everyone should be.
Everyone should be. Everybody can work a public desk, but they don't necessarily have like the skills to know reader's advisory for an adult or a child, or how to help a child with a reference question, how to help an adult with a reference question, how to access a database. So it's different skill sets in each department.
That's what I thought, but. when
But
I got
everyone
the
can
email,
work, I mean,
everyone
we can
was
check books out in
cross-trained.
youth. Like anyone can check a book out, anybody can say hi, anybody can.
We're doing the dual self-checkout, you could check out your own, so.
Yeah, well, in youth, the parents like us to check them out because they have stacks of 40, but definitely here, like 1 or 2 books, yeah.
Okay, so the goal is gonna be 15 to 18 hours?
I'd say
Is that-
10.
You say 10? Marge, Sylvia?
I'd go with 15, 18.
Whatever you need.
I'm all about stats and I'm all for more programs, but it's not my call, I would say.
Well, you're the one that's working in the library. We're just observers.
Then how you're saying, you know, the board has said we want to see more programs, how you say, you know, there's no crafts going on. Hopefully, we'd like to see, we're hiring someone for 15, 18 hours, there are more programs added to the calendar.
The more programs, when I look on the calendar, the programs are full, you have to register, they're required, they're canceled, they're not rescheduled. At least they're full at least 2 weeks ahead of time, so there's
If
some
it's stuff we
crafts
have to
going
order
on.
supplies for, it has to close at a certain point so we have time to order stuff. So we're not wasting money buying like stuff for 50 people when 20 show up.
Well, you
and
just redo
registration
the
opens
craft,
2
the
weeks
craft
before.
supplies don't expire, you just
No, but
reuse
kids don't want
them.
to do the same craft.
We don't have a
every week.
surplus
Yeah.
of stuff sitting.
Danielle, I've seen the same craft with, it looks like a tongue depressor done on a crab, on a this, on a that, so it is the same
Well,
craft.
stuff
you
like that we
guys do.
have, like those little crafts, those little cheap, like easy ones, we have stuff like that in surplus, but if it's a nicer activity, like the Easter Bunny or Grinch or some special activity, we need to register people so we know how much stuff to buy.
I would think you guys would know by now how many people
Well,
show up.
sometimes we have 150, sometimes we have 4. Like for the Grinch this year, we had 80, we anticipated like 200, because we've had 200 in the past.
I didn't even see it really basically advertised that much.
It
I mean,
was
I don't know if it
everywhere.
was different,
It goes.
if you
to-
I
guys
mean,
did
I'm
something
thinking if you want
different.
more, you would just leave it for next year.
Yeah, we do that with like Christmas stuff and the big holiday stuff, but like leprechaun traps.
Okay, we're wasting our time here, let's go. Whatever you
And
guys
some of
decide,
that stuff
come on.
depends on weather too,
Water, yeah.
you know.
Okay, so what's next? Head of technical service until Joanne comes back.
Okay, yeah, well.
She's on her way down the stairs now.
Okay, so head of youth, teen outreach position. Oh, that's the interim, right?
Yeah, she doesn't.
Okay,
she wants-
so right now the interim is Geraldine,
Yeah.
and she would like to go back to being a regular youth assistant and not the head.
Okay.
Okay. So what's your suggestion, Ted?
Thank you. So is there anyone who has expressed interest in wanting, are they aware?
They are aware.
They are aware. Has anyone expressed interest in wanting to be the interim head of youth services? Okay, so there's no one who wants to be it.
Does it have anything to do with you telling people that since you're leaving, the whole library's folding and everyone's getting to be leaving?
No,
Oh, okay, just wondered.
if they want to leave with me, that's on them. I'm not telling people to leave, I'm leaving for me.
But giving them false information that we're getting rid of the whole staff and we're after them is not appropriate for you to
haven't said that.
tell people. Okay, just checking.
Okay.
You know, if they thought that after the raises we gave them, I imagine that changed.
Well, you know what, the power of suggestion from somebody's mouth, when they keep hearing it, they believe it. So if that's what Danielle is doing, at least it's on the YouTube, since Rosa wants to post everything, Danielle said she has never said that.
Correct.
That their job's in jeopardy, or that we're gonna get rid of them, because we love all the people that are here, that's why we gave them raises, that's why we even made them retro, to take care of them. Nobody's after anyone in this library. If you choose to leave, good luck to you. You
Well,
could leave.
people did talk about raises they got, and it caused a lot of low morale with people who did not get the same raises as other people, and that was them talking amongst themselves.
I have a question. Amount of travel required. There might be travel.
For outreach, yeah.
So you have NA.
So it might be like, and what do we do in outreach, 10 to 25?
No,
So
we're
you
not
wanna
talking about outreach.
You want to
For,
change
if they're gonna
that.
be doing programs for seniors at like North or Central, then there would be travel required.
So then you have to change that.
Okay,
So there is travel.
So that's like a what, 10%?
yeah.
So there is travel. And,
This also should say evenings, it shouldn't just say Monday through Saturday, it should also have evenings, because it seems like nobody really wants to work evenings.
We should copy the youth descriptions, because they all say evenings, weekends.
And then, so we're gonna change the work schedule. It's not gonna be 19 hours. We're gonna say, are we in agreement? Do we have any other options? 15 to 18 hours? What do you guys think?
whatever you say.
15 to 18, and we'll leave it at the discretion of,
Just put 15 on.
just put 15?
I don't think anyone's gonna be upset if they get more hours, but if you don't give them that, don't you think they're gonna say something?
Well, I don't think some, I mean,
Natasha,
wanna put
Sam,
minimum,
can you guys say something, please? We
minimum-
have to move on, this is like
Minimum
ridiculous.
15 hours.
so minimum 15. So
I will put on that.
that's why I just wanted to be clear, like,
Yeah.
And
this
I
isn't
don't
a
see
full-time
anywhere
position.
a
I don't want,
starting salary, how much it's gonna be.
Probably between 16 and 17.
Well, you have to look at the other people in
Because
that
Ivan is
department.
currently making $16.75, so I would imagine it'd be.
Well, it should be $16 an hour then.
But what
But
schooling
there
are
again,
they
if they don't
having?
have
What
the,
is-
if they don't have the master's degree.
What do they have?
This is for-
Natasha?
Oh, it's not a requirement for
And I
master's
think
degree.
there's assistants making 16 in other departments, so yeah,
Oh.
this is for an assistant.
Okay.
But yeah, not for the librarian.
And this is page 1 of 2, so
but-
Okay, Okay.
Because like, if it's like the other person in that department, I don't know if you can mention the name, again, he's at college, doing this, 16 an hour, I think that's what she should have spent. So I put like minimum 15 hours,
15 to like 18 or 19, just so people know they're never gonna get like over 19 or whatever.
Right, I want someone to
Oh,
be clear that
yeah.
this is not full-time.
Minimum
I don't want them to
15
expect that this is a position to,
Well,
that
if,
they
I
might
hope
feel
they can
full-time.
read part-time and know it's not a full-time job also.
Yeah.
Well, this gives them, because I say some, if we say 15 to 18 hours, one week they might work 15, and the next week they might work 16, depending on the
Or
schedule.
1 week they might work 5, and the next week they may work more.
No, there's something about if you start working too many weeks over the 20, then you start.
All right, any other
Well-
changes we need to make on this posting?
so
Or
what are you gonna do, like 15 to 19, that's what you're gonna put?
15 to 19?
Okay, and $16 an hour.
All right, fair. Any other
This is
changes?
nobody with mess.
And amount of travel.
Amount of travel, 10%.
So that, so this can be posted with these changes on Rails?
Yep, are we in agreement that this can be posted on
Yeah.
Rails
Okay.
with the changes that we've discussed? Cool. Okay, moving on.
Okay, so who motion, who second?
Okay, sorry, we do need,
I'll move that we accept this revised description for the Popular Services Reference Assistant and post it on Rails. Okay, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm busy
roll
writing.
call.
Okay. Natasha?
Yes.
Sam? Sam? Yes. Marge, yes. Rosa?
yes, and then we'll wait for Debbie to confirm. Yes.
So now we have to find somebody who's gonna be in charge of the team, or they can function and do stuff by themselves.
I think someone needs to be in charge of them.
If you want to post, Geraldine will keep doing the job until you hire someone. Like, she just wants to make sure that this is
Well,
posted.
that's true. So since you are leaving and you're not coming back, we would need to post for the position.
Correct.
And if nobody wants it, yeah, it'd be.
Well, of course, we're gonna post it for a position, but what is she afraid that she's not gonna get her job back?
She doesn't like being a manager.
Well, maybe that's not her cup of tea, I understand that.
Yeah, so she just wants to make sure this is posted because I'm not going back, so she wants to make sure
That's fair.
there's an end in sight.
Well, there is an insight,
And
and
there's-
she
and
can do
there's
as much
nobody
as she
in-house.
can. If she needs help, I will ask Kate
Yeah,
for
okay,
help.
as long as she
And
just has
Ron,
someone to
because
ask
they're
for.
head of department.
So then
She can go to Kate, because Kate was an
Can-
interim head of youth at Brookfield for 2 years, so she can.
Perfect.
Joanne, I'm sorry so much to bother you.
She doesn't have to hold the
Can we print
title.
out then, can we just approve it
And just
now?
do the work, so just tell her she
The
can be-
position
Yeah,
for
she doesn't
head
have
of
to
youth?
hold it. The title doesn't give her
Okay.
nothing.
Yeah, is that what you
Okay,
have
yeah.
it?
You know, she
Here,
doesn't get extra
so-
money for
sorry.
it. She doesn't, as long as they can function and ask the help from Kate and Ron, I think, I mean, I'm looking at whoever else is,
Okay, so she'll ask for help from Kate, but then if you can tell her that, then
Oh, yeah, so I just sent Joanne to get the same printout, but for head of youth, so let's approve that.
And get that rolling.
Get the pay and get that rolling too. So we'll wait on that. Do you approve the posting?
I'll just vote me present.
Yep, okay. All right, so then, we'll wait for Joanne on that. Going now to the postage machine.
no.
You voted, I mean, we
Head of
thought no,
technical
right?
services job title. We already changed.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I
that.
skipped it, I'm so sorry.
Not the person, like the title, head of technical services is confusing to people, they think it's IT. So like head of collection management or head of cataloging.
There's no head of anyone,
There's
she's
no-
one person.
She can be head of herself.
She's a digital
Well, what
librarian.
is
She's a digital librarian. that's
Well,
what
she
is.
was made the interim head of technical services, is my
And
understanding.
we said when we got a tech service company, we don't have the department anymore,
Right,
so
so,
it's
but
gone.
she's like the digital librarian, then no head anymore, just
Correct.
digital librarian and then catalog or whatever.
That's, we talked about it last time, yeah?
Is it? Okay.
So
going back to
we are, it's
flying
just, we're just changing her title because it's getting confusing that
Yeah.
people think she's
I
in charge of
see.
IT stuff and she has nothing to do with IT.
No.
So we approve, or we're going to, what's the title that we want to put?
Head
Digital,
of, or digital librarian.
digital librarian will be her
And
title.
Cataloger.
And cataloger, that's it?
Cataloger,
Okay, cataloger.
Well, would that be, would her title be digital librarian, but we will say in her job description that it includes cataloging?
Yes.
But that's what she does, yeah.
No,
Well,
there's a difference
she
between.
digitizes like old,
Right.
digitizes things, so they're like stored like digitally.
Right.
And then she also processes books, puts the labels on them. She catalogs the adult ones, I do youth ones, but she does adult. And then she puts the labels, the barcodes, the jackets, so that's what she does.
But that's under her job description.
Correct, but what's the
We're
title?
just-
We're just doing digital librarian.
That's what she was, and she was doing that job all along. with
Was
the
she
same-
tech services assistant digital librarian before, I think?
No, I
She
don't
was?
think so. Digital librarian was the only thing.
That's all she was.
Yeah.
And she was given the pay ahead of time
Yeah, to be the
for
interim.
the interim that was not supposed to be given, so.
I think that,
That's why
like,
we
the
skipped
plan
her
was,
last
'cause,
time.
like, her boss left, and then she took that with, and she was supposed to assess the workflow to see if she needed to hire a part-time person, because initially it was the department head, she was full-time, and there was a part-time person. And then the part-time person retired, we never replaced her, then my staff started doing youth materials, and Johanna was still doing adult materials, and then she was made the head, and then the head was doing like the DVDs, the video games, all the like tech stuff. So it's like she got books, CDs, DVDs, video games, everything, magazines dumped on her. So she was supposed to assess the workflow to see if someone else needed to be hired for tech services to help her.
But it's working fine with youth service doing it. They had the most.
Well, we
staff.
stopped doing it, like, the old director pulled us out because he wanted her to assess it. So if you want us to go back to doing that,
I think
don't
you
know if
should.
I'll-
It's your department and you're familiar with the
agree with
books
you,
and
yeah.
everything too.
No,
I
I agree
think
with you.
that-
Well, what was her assessment? Did we get an assessment from her?
Well, we got all those per capita books and then we got slammed, so.
Oh.
then-
Yeah, you can't really compare that
Yeah.
because that
No,
was,
that's-
everyone had a help and that was great that they all pitched in and helped.
No,
That's
but I
amazing.
agree that youth staff should be doing youth books.
What was her title before?
I thought she was.
Digital librarian.
digital
Natasha, you
librarian.
had it, don't you?
Not with me, digital librarian, I remember
So
that.
digital librarian cataloger instead of head of tech services.
Yeah, you can't be the just head of yourself. There's only one person in that.
Or do you want to make her title digital librarian / cataloger?
She's the one who's supposed to maintain the outdoor sign.
She didn't do that anymore. You do that. Mark, or her boss was doing it before.
Okay. Receives and checks on deliveries and submits documentation to library administration, catalogs library materials,
Okay, digital librarian / cataloger.
slash.
You need to have cataloger?
No, but everyone keeps talking about it, so let's just move on. We're spending too much time on one thing. She should just go back to the title she had, whatever it was.
I think just tech,
Digital librarian, if it was,
Digital
if it wasn't,
librarian.
Joanne should know
why
what
don't
it
we
is.
just leave digital
Joanne should know what it
librarian?
is, right. I
If
agree.
that's what you want, then if that's what you want. I
Her
don't-
Whatever
job,
she was-
her job is,
Is what you're gonna do. We don't have to itemize everyone's job in their job title.
no, it's in her job description, that's fine.
All right, so going back to the head of youth services, wait, should I not go back? Let's finish the D, right? Okay, so,
Digital librarian.
yeah, digital library, right? That doesn't need a vote? Let's just, should we just vote
Well,
anyway?
it's on new business,
Well,
so
the
we have
thing
to
is, it
vote.
sounds like we need to, there were things, like who's gonna take care of the sign, blah, blah, blah. We need to rewrite her
Yeah.
description, if she's still gonna be doing cataloging in there, under her job description.
So. read the
Otherwise,
description.
she could say, well, that's not my job, to catalog.
Okay, but that's gonna have to be one meeting because everyone's job description has changed. Those job descriptions are from like 2017, a lot of them.
No, January, they were up there January 2022. Is that the
The
date
new
they
ones
were
are.
updated?
So hers reflects
First was
But we
also-
didn't approve those changes, right?
No, we just got them handed to us, so we need to review these all
Okay,
ourselves
so we have to review
as a board.
everybody's.
And first, the department head has to review their own people and see if that's what they're doing.
We did, we helped
We
write
did,
it,
we did
yeah.
that. We
So
updated them in
then the
January.
director would do the department head.
So the
request.
director just typed them up and just filed them away until we asked for them,
Well, if it's from
When-
January.
when you
oh,
asked
it
for
will be
it.
you, huh?
But do we have to micromanage like that?
We don't have to micromanage, but we have to have the
See what it is.
updated ones, because the old ones have nothing to do with these. The person, the previous director was changing whether someone needed a master's in one position, all of a sudden they didn't need one, because they didn't have one, because they were promoted from within, which is fine. I think it's great to promote from within. If anybody wants to move departments or move up, that's fantastic, if they want a different job in the library. But you shouldn't be changing the whole description to fit the person that had that job then. If there was people before that needed masters, all of a sudden they didn't. If they needed a bachelor's, all of a sudden they didn't. So, yeah, we should
And
decide
then
if,
also it was changing, like
Based on
some
their
people
pay.
working Monday through Saturday, now it's changed Monday to Friday. So things are changing and it's like, I don't feel comfortable with things changing in the job description and in the jobs without reporting to us.
yeah, somebody used to be like Monday through Saturday and evenings, now they're just Monday through Friday, 8 to 4.
Like
That's
even
it.
this one, it has to say not just Monday to Saturday, some evenings are required.
I think it's in the job description, like open availability and stuff, isn't it? Or outreach stuff.
Well, why don't we all review this and move on?
Okay, so right now, D, digital librarian, so is there a motion to accept the changing of the title from head of technical services to digital librarian?
Correct.
I
Okay,
make a
so-
motion,
Well,
or whatever. You did?
Sylvia,
I made
yeah,
it.
if I don't get the second.
Okay, I'll be second.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Sam?
Yes.
Debbie?
Yes.
Sylvia?
Yes.
Marge, yes. Rosa?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so head of youth services, teen outreach position, so Joanne just printed these out for us. So what changes do you think are required, the travel, should that just be automatically 10% now because we have
I
the,
wish we had this ahead of time, so now.
Yeah,
we can't
I'm
go
not
on.
rushing to read this, I say we talk about it next time then. If Geraldine doesn't want to do it, we'll ask
Yeah, but there
somebody
again,
else, if nobody
In
wants to
2
do
weeks, we
it.
have another meeting, let's.
Yeah, we have to have
next-
another meeting in
next
2 more weeks, for 5 more hours.
exactly, so let's not try to make those even longer, let's get through today's meeting. What is the error with wanting to post this?
Because you're making us read this in 2 seconds, Rosa, and decide what we want to do.
I don't want to leave the library understaffed. We have one person leaving, we have
Okay,
an
you're
open position
posting another one
already.
for a reference. You're posting this one, right, that we all agreed on? Did we agree when I was in the bathroom on it?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so you got that person.
But we don't have that person yet, is my
Okay.
concern.
I would like to just make a motion, then we have to put the outreach on hold if nobody wants to be in charge of the outreach program and the head of youth services and outreach positions in there, so we'll have to put that on hold if we
Okay, for
don't have
people
anyone.
working-
It has
Service-
been because they don't have me, they're down a full-time person, so it has been on hold already.
But you have 4 people working there, right?
2 full-timers and 3 part-timers.
So there's 5.
5 with 2 floors, programs for all ages.
I don't want our library to take a hit for us not being able to approve. All
Yeah,
it is a
it's
posting.
a shame.
One is a posting, and then we still need someone to apply, and then we still need to go through the interview process, and we still need to hire. I don't want to delay it. So what changes would you like to see, or would you guys like, is there a vote, everyone wants to table this?
Okay, well, what?
This,
Putting-
posting this
posting.
position?
For the head of.
I'm asking you
youth
to look at
services.
this.
Wait. Why are we looking for somebody for youth services?
Because Danielle's leaving.
Danielle's not coming back to head of youth.
Friday.
You're not coming back?
No, Friday's my last day.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
You didn't see your email?
Correct. So that's why I want to get this published, because we are already gonna be down a director, we are already down a part-timer, and she's not coming back to head of youth. So that's why, if you guys all want us to table this and have more time to read this, that is fine if the majority votes that. Otherwise, my personal opinion is I would like to get this approved and posted as soon as
Yes,
possible.
we've got to get this.
Okay, so why did we require a master's for Whatever that's.
It's a-
services.
Because in youth services, usually a teaching degree is accepted in like 90% of libraries for.
Well,
health
this just says
services.
bachelor's degree is required.
Oh, it could be updated if you want to update for like teaching degree or something, like I think that's what it was.
What it was when you got it and then they changed it,
Well,
or
it
they
was
changed
like,
it
no,
after
it
you
was
got the
bachelor's
job?
degree when I got it, because I got it with a bachelor's degree. I came in as a head of youth services 10 years ago.
I would think that someone that's in charge of youth services and teens should have a master's above someone who's in the computer section or playing with kids all day. I mean, yeah, teaching at minimum. They should have a minimum teaching
Yeah.
degree and bachelor's, if not a master's. And what are we
Well, you
gonna do
can
with
put
the
minimum
pay?
So-
teacher and bachelor
Like
degree,
teaching
master's.
degree, that's what
master's
they post, it's like
preferred.
bachelor's degree, teaching degree, bachelor's in teaching required, master's preferred or something, like you can do that.
Okay.
But in youth, it's usually, you look for teachers, is what they do.
Okay, so
And
what would
about
you
the
guys
pay?
like?
What are we doing with the pay?
Well, okay,
Yeah,
so
evenings?
one thing at a time. So the education, what would you guys like that to say? Bachelor's degree required, master's degree, teaching degree?
What did you say? How did you say it?
Bachelor's in teaching and master's preferred, bachelor's degree in teaching or related field.
I think
Required,
bachelor's in
master's degree
teaching is
preferred.
required, master's preferred.
Okay,
Yes.
so bachelor's
That's
/ teaching degree required, master's preferred.
Yes.
Joanne, do you have that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And then change and evenings on the front.
Yes, Monday to Saturdays, how do you put that? Some,
It's on, if you add in the work schedule, it's got 40 hours Monday through Saturday, and it says, under youth access closing manager, 1 evening a week and 1 Saturday a month. I work 2, if you want to require that of the new person, you can like change that
I would
now.
just put on the top, Monday
Yeah.
through Saturday and some evenings. What if you need them?
where do you see that one evening?
Under youth, it's
The
all
bullet
the
points?
bullet points.
Yeah?
Fourth from the bottom, access closing manager, 1 evening a week and 1 Saturday a month.
Oh, change that, not one evening.
Did you ever,
Well,
Act
you're
as a closing
responsible,
manager.
you're responsible, the department has now are responsible for 1 assigned closing evening a week, so if you want to, like, that's why it says access closing manager, but there's nights when there's 2 or 3 of us here,
Oh, okay.
depending what's going on, so that's just to say, like, you're responsible for being the manager of the building, basically. And then the 1 Saturday a month, we're responsible for being the manager, but I'm here 2 Saturdays a month, just because we have programs and stuff. so-
Gotcha. Oh, okay, that's
you
what
want-
you're saying.
yeah.
Okay, so okay, that's fine.
So it will
Uh,
depend
So
on-
I would say just change it to some evenings,
I will put some in the,
some. Don't specify 1 or 2,
No,
just say
some.
some.
some is
Yeah.
good.
And work schedule. So 40 hours, Monday through Saturday, some evenings.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But
Do you wanna
that
put
bullet
weekend
point,
rotation?
that bullet point.
Here, okay.
Yeah, don't specify
Okay,
1
so
evening
just leave
or 1
that.
Saturday, just put some. Yeah, I would just put some.
And what are we doing about the pay, or just put negotiable or something? I mean, we all
You have to
agree.
give the starting salary.
Okay, grade level.
I started at 52 10 years ago, and then I got 2 more departments, so if you want to break it up,
Your salary?
yeah, so I was at head of youth, just head of youth at 52. And then I got teen given to me the next year, then I got outreach 2 years later, so that's why my salary has gone up.
Okay.
So you can decide if you want to like. break it up
Can you
or-
remind me the salary for, minimum for director that we're doing? 70? 70 is the director, and you started at 52, but then you got teen and you got outreach.
Well, we don't know what we're gonna do with that still, so I would like to see outreach be its own program and have one person designated for that eventually down the road. So I don't know if you wanna just say starting 50,000 and see who applies.
See if
Is
anybody.
is there any other heads that are over 50?
Kate is,
I just think because like head of youth is the most busiest
yeah, it is.
of them.
Yeah.
I
That's why
agree.
it would have been nice if you guys could have prepared us for this ahead of time, so we could have looked at this and did our own little research. We didn't know what Danielle started at, we don't know what the bumps with the raises were. I mean, it's basically designating stuff also, besides doing it before the weekends and the nights. I mean, you were doing mostly
you were focusing on outreach too.
I mean,
I
If
have
you
staff
take
to
it-
do in-house stuff too.
If you
too.
take, right, but you're designating that, you're not doing that. So if you have an outreach person like you were and split the job in half, then it's gonna be the same pay. If we end up doing something like that.
So you're thinking like down the line, add an additional,
Like one outreach
Full-time.
person that you don't have 5 different people running to Stickney Township, getting reimbursed for mileage, getting like all
Well,
this
that
stuff.
was like when I was given this position as head of outreach, however long ago, 6 or 7 years ago, that was the thought, was this would be the umbrella position to coordinate outreach when, like, if someone was doing a senior program at North, or if youth was going to do stuff at Central Stickney. So this was intended to be that position as like the coordinator to send people to do their designated program. A youth librarian would go do school outreach, a senior or reference would do senior book discussion somewhere, or knitting. So that was the thought with this outreach part.
But that part didn't happen,
It tried to.
but it did,
Well, COVID.
right.
Okay,
So just like designate.
so
Okay.
let's
It's like
do,
the umbrella for-
should we go like 50 to
55.
54, whatever, give the range, it depends who we have, how many years and stuff like that, experience, so we can go.
Okay.
Okay, so your number, you're saying is 50?
We give the range between 50 to $54,000 because it's a salary, and then after, next to that, I will put, you gotta give some range, you know, it depends. Let's say you got somebody that's only working for 3 years as of now, I mean, they're not gonna be paid 54,000, but if you have experienced person that's doing this kind of job already in different libraries, and they wanna move because they moved over here close, you give them more. On the qualification, what they have and stuff like that.
Okay, I think, well, what are your guys' opinions on numbers? My personal one is, I think 55, I think is a fair, because there's, in my opinion, the head of youth is a lot more busy than the other positions.
But if you post 55 and they want to negotiate, then you're going already to 60.
Higher, so start 50.
Start
Okay.
50 to 55.
You could put 50 to
negotiation.
55, yeah. I was just giving you 50 to 54.
Okay.
I like number
So,
4.
so we're not telling them a cap, we're just saying it's starting at 50. Okay.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
fair.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
Just like starting at 50.
Starting at 50.
Starting at 50,
yeah,
okay.
but then we have room to
Do
negotiate.
you want to do
Okay.
starting at 50 depending on qualifications, or is it put
Yeah.
starting at 50?
Starting at 50 depending on qualifications.
So no 50 to 55 then?
No, it's just starting at 50, and then if they've been ahead of you somewhere else for a ton of years, awesome, give them 55, maybe give them 60 max is probably what we're looking at, but if we can keep it under, obviously they can't make more than the director, but I understand this is a salary position, and we ask a lot from these people. Okay, any other changes you think? So then, oh, sorry, is there any changes? Anything else?
So these.
Yes, okay, so is there a motion to approve the position for head of youth?
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second it. Okay, Natasha?
Yes.
Sam?
Yes.
Debbie?
Yes.
Sylvia?
Yes.
Marge, yes. Rosa?
Yes. Awesome, thank you. Okay, so the postage machine.
Yeah, we are not doing that.
So that,
I make a
you,
motion, do I have to make a motion because it's a new business, so we get,
Yes.
motion to table it because we need to confirm that we absolutely don't need it for that Swan book stuff. And if we don't, then awesome, let's cancel it and let's just do buy a roll of.
so what are you trying
stamps.
to see, that we don't need what?
Um,
That service?
being part of like the Swan, how we can, you know.
Yeah,
our-
this is
our
different than
people-
Swan, that's the thing. This is completely different, it has nothing to do with it.
No, but some libraries require, like, the way that our patrons can request books from other libraries,
Yeah.
other patrons from their libraries need to be able to request them from us. And I thought there was an email that I saw that in order for us to offer that, we have to be able to like ship it out and send it out same day kind of thing. Like, we weigh the book and
Yeah, but
things.
We can
maybe
take
we
it to the
don't,
library.
I don't think we have to participate in that program, we can just opt out of that program.
You're
Okay,
talking
just
about the
check.
out-of-state program.
Yes,
Okay, just let her table it, let's just move on, please. Let her
Okay.
look at it and send
I'll
us
make a motion to
information.
table it for the next
Why are we
meeting.
gonna keep guessing? Let's just make a motion
I'll
to table it.
second.
Okay, Sam and
yes.
Natasha, okay, no, who seconded?
Oh,
Oh, he
Sam.
seconded, who, okay, you were, all right, and this,
Natasha first,
I
Mary.
made
First,
a
the motion
motion
to table.
to table it, and Sam seconded that
okay,
motion.
all right, there we go, all right, now, you said yes.
Yes.
Sam? Debbie?
Yes, table.
Sylvia? Yes. Marge? Yes.
Rosa.
Rosa, yes.
Thank you. All right, what are we gonna do about bank deposits? We have, money here that needs to go to the bank. The only person currently bonded is our treasurer. We were gonna move it to
The treasurer
Danielle.
is bonded for the stuff that's in the bank. Stop saying that I'm bonded to go make deposits. The treasurer does not make deposits. Find somebody else, let them make deposits.
That's what we're gonna discuss. You are specifically bonded because the person who makes the deposit, if something happens to that money, we are bonded and we can put an insurance claim on that. That was why
I am
we.
bonded because of all the money that we have in the banks. Per Illinois statute, per our bylaws, that's what I'm bonded for. You can go and Google it if you don't believe me. I am not, I don't know where the heck that's coming from. And she's claiming it's coming from the last audit. It's not coming. That's not what Calene and Associates suggested to us, but they suggested some other things that we didn't fulfill either. So no, for how much money is there from the coin machine, like maybe $100? Nobody can go, you're gonna get robbed for $100?
There's
waiting.
a lot of money here.
That's a lot from the license plates.
No.
That's from the license plates,
No.
and that's from since November.
That's not from the
So
license.
November,
That's from-
December, January, February, that's 4 months of money into $1,000.
I'm gonna tell you something, when I came on this board, I
$200.
said you that in email, when I came on the board, I became a treasurer right away. We didn't have a director, we had nobody, all the way to November, she was making the class, no problem. Continue to make another year, and now suddenly it's a problem.
Well, Sickage is the one who recommended that for the, on the
We do
audit.
that for
Oh,
dual
because I have the
control.
last year when I don't have sickage one,
Well, Sickage.
because I'm looking at the
If
last
you look
year.
at the Sickage audit, they recommended that.
2 years
the
ago?
person who did
Recommended.
this-
That's how we
We
put
don't-
fraud, she's right now, we have fraud concerns at the moment. You can't have someone who counts money also deposit the money. Because she records it and she can say, oh, well, she counted this money, it's $50 when it's really 200, and she's gonna record it 50 and she'll say it to the bank. Which, yes, this is why we're talking about it. We need someone bonded to go and make those deposits. So that's fine if you do not want to do them, that's why we're
You
having
don't
the
have to-
discussion.
The bond that I have, it's not the same bond that you want to purchase. It's a completely different bond, only for deposits. You don't have to pay $600 bond. That's for the safety of money in the bank accounts. That's my bond for.
Okay.
Why you want to bond somebody for the same bond to go and make deposits? That's 3 miles away. I used to make deposits for, I think, a police station, $10,000. No problem,
So if you did for them, why won't you for the library?
because I don't work for the library.
You didn't work for the police association.
Yeah, I didn't, but that's my choice.
So-
That was my choice when I was doing it.
Okay,
And
so
I
then it's
wasn't
your
doing the
choice
job
not to.
that I'm doing right now.
So
I
it's
don't
your
have time
choice
for
not
that.
to, which is fine. This is why we're discussing that we need to have someone bonded. The whole point of the discussion is that there's money here at the library that needs to go to the bank.
It's
our-
nickels and dimes, you don't have to bond anybody.
It doesn't matter what dollar amount it is, it's $1,500, and you're not just gonna send a random employee to make that deposit.
The
So-
police association doesn't have coins, I'm just saying. We don't count coins there.
Not for PTA, I was never bonded, not police association, I was never bonded, I was treasurer all the time.
Every entity is different, every company works differently. We, under the discretion or the advice of our auditing people, said that the person who counts and records the money should not deposit the money.
It's so
So
funny,
we
you're
deposit.
listening what they said that, but nobody's going to see what else they said to recommended for us to do. But we are gonna go after this bonding thing, it's a recommendation, it doesn't have to be done. It was never done all these years.
You guys, this board already has fraud concerns, and you're saying that the person who records the
This
money
thing
should
with the-
also go
started
and
before the
post it?
fraud.
What was that?
This thing with the deposit started way before somebody even mentioned the fraud.
I'm not saying there's fraud from coin counting, and how would I know if there's fraud if someone's putting the coins in their pocket?
I'm just saying,
Don't try to compare her going to the bank with me with fraud from bank account to bank account. That's so different, Rosa, that's so
I'm saying
different.
I don't want her to have a fraud accusation against her for saying I recorded $50 when there was really $100, and then she went to the bank and only deposited $50,
Well, maybe
and
the
she pocketed
recommendation
$50.
is the person that's dropping it off gets the deposit from the bank. Exactly. Why do you have to be bonded? What do you think she's gonna steal, 36 cents out of there, and then what?
This isn't
We're
about
gonna get a
pennies.
deposit back from
This
the
is
bank.
$1,500.
Why don't you take it? I trust you. Why
I am
don't
not
you go take
bonded,
it?
so that's why we're
Oh.
having this discussion.
You don't
Should
have
we
to be
bond
bonded.
an employee? This isn't about
You shouldn't be
you.
bonded. It doesn't matter. It's $1,500.
So if
It's a
someone robs, and I'm not
recommendation.
saying an employee is gonna rob us, I'm saying if someone robs our employee on the way to the bank, If there's a car crash and that money goes flying,
Right, exactly.
that is the point of the bond that we have, and we
$200 a
can,
month?
and we.
For $200 a month, I'll
No.
donate it from you then. Yes, it's
It's
4 months
$500,
into
isn't it?
$1,200. How many coins per month are we depositing, Joanne? Coins from the coin tower.
Well, it depends.
You keep saying that. We asked you a question, the woman told us to ask you a question, and you said, well, you know,
Right now,
let me-
right
Hush,
now,
let her
right now
answer.
we have 12.
Well, I can't hear what the mask
No,
on
how
anyhow,
much
so we have
monthly
to be
you
quiet.
collect?
What, hold on, her mask has nothing to do
Well, we
about
can't
anything.
hear her, so we're trying
Okay.
to understand
Okay,
it.
so then
Nobody can hear
let's
it.
all calm down, okay? So, do you have an estimate of how much is in the coin tower?
Currently, right now, we have approximately 1,200 that needs to be deposited, just for the coin towers. Then we have the cash receipts, the registered receipts, that's maybe about another 400 approximately, currently waiting to be.
How do you know about the coin towers if no one counted them?
Because when I take it out of the coin towers, I document what's taken out. So I keep a tally of every day when I take out money from the coin tower. I document, there was 15 singles, there was 25 quarters, 50 dimes, et cetera.
So are you bonded? How do we know you didn't take money out of there?
Well, that's, I
How do we know?
record it. That's-
But how do we know?
That's why I record it.
But you can write down any number you want. You're not bonded. Why are you touching the money then?
Okay, if you don't want me to touch money, then I won't touch
But
money.
I'm making a point to Rosa, you're touching the money and you're not bonded,
Is
so
that
what
not under
difference
dual
does it
control?
make?
Is that not under dual control?
Sylvia, I feel the same way. This is ridiculous. Pick up the money and go take it to the bank on your way home. That's it. If you used to do the deposits in the interims, go do the deposits. Whoever did it before. What is the problem?
The whole point
We're
of this
sitting here at
discussion
9
was,
o'clock at night. Let's keep going. What do you think, Sam? What do you think about the bonding?
Oh, no.
My question was,
No,
let's
wait.
finish this. How much a month we are collecting from the coin towers?
From the coin towers, probably approximately 600, 700 a month. And then you got your separate deposit for the cash register. That's around maybe 200, a month. It used to be higher, but now since we don't charge for
Again,
late fees.
have one person counting with Joanne, so you have two people balancing. I don't see what's the big deal.
I understand it's inconvenient, and I've told you, I totally understood why we had the director do it, because you're right, it is an inconvenience, you don't work here, you shouldn't have to be going to do things you're not paid for, you're not getting, the mileage and all that, I get it. The point of having this on this agenda is so that we can discuss if we need to pay the $100 to bind somebody else to move the bond. Well, so originally, it was gonna be $100 to move it from the old director to Danielle, that was gonna be $100, and it was on the agenda because she's only interim, so then we would have to pay $100 again when we get the permanent director. But now, since she's leaving, what are we gonna do? And then, so I was asking if Natasha, if she can do it for this month, since we have so much, until we get a permanent director in place. And if we don't have to do it every month, we've gone a couple months not doing it, it's not a terrible, large amount, but right now it is, a pretty decent amount that we should not have a year.
When those, there have to be a deposit?
They should be done monthly for our books to
No,
balance.
no, I mean, you said this time you got too much money.
Because there hasn't been any deposits since November.
It's not done November, December, January, February, that's
Because
4 months.
Natasha couldn't find the time to do it.
Of course. And there's only 1,600. So wait,
Okay.
4 months, 1,600, but we are collecting 600 a month, makes no sense. Plus 200, that's 800.
I said approximately.
Yeah, so it's 200 actually. I don't know, do whatever you want.
No, we can't do whatever we want. This is a board. We have
We have
$1,500.
only one person who's bonded.
So at the moment, you are the only person that's bonded. You do not want to make the deposit for the library.
Yeah.
So we need to discuss an alternative option. So the alternative option is to cost our taxpayers money to bond somebody
Now
else.
we're gonna worry about the taxpayers?
We've always
Come on,
worried about our
Rosa.
taxpayers' money. Thank
Come on,
you.
Rosa.
Always.
So save the money,
Always.
don't bond anybody, have 2 people count the money so it matches. Joanne and somebody else can count the money.
So you're saying, and if something happens to that
It
money,
didn't happen all these years, Rosa.
that doesn't matter. That doesn't mean it can't happen.
Of course you can have.
Wait, don't
I
two
mean,
people have to go to outreach together all the time? Why don't those two people, so they can watch each other, go deposit the money? Then they won't get robbed and they won't steal because there's two of them.
I like that idea.
Okay.
Well,
So
but there
that's-
again, it's like you say,
If something happens to
the
them.
auto accident and the money goes flying,
And,
Right now,
and,
Gabby's
and their,
making-
and we wouldn't ask their family if there was a fatal
And we'll
accident.
leave the
or
cost
something.
of
Who
that.
cares?
Well,
The
we're not gonna even-
car insurance would probably cover it. The car insurance would cover it, the auto insurance.
How about we make that with two people gonna deposit money,
oh,
or we
that's
can
even
stay all night
worse.
there?
If she can't go by herself, what about, why should you expect anybody else?
Because there's two
Because they
people
work for
going
the
to
library,
outreach
they work for the
program
library.
anyhow.
You took on the position as treasurer. That's
Not
part
to
of the
deposit
job.
the money in
Oh,
a bank, Marge. No, don't go there. I am
Okay.
bonded for the bank
And you don't
accounts,
even wanna
not
sign
to
the
make the
checks.
deposits in a bank.
Okay,
Don't-
okay, so
Never happen.
I like
So
the
are you
idea
guys
of
gonna
having,
decide or not? Yeah, if not, I'm not gonna stay till 11, 12 o'clock anymore. I'm going home and that's it,
Oh.
bottom line.
that's
Right,
at your
because we're
discretion.
spending
Come
a
on,
half
guys.
an hour on
Let's-
every single
yeah.
subject.
We are making sure that everything, that no one has questions when we leave here.
Okay, can I make a motion to make, assign two people to make deposits?
Second.
What two people?
The outreach people on the way, where's the bank?
Currently-
They don't go together. Gabby meets Ken there, because she's coming from Cicero, so she meets him there, starts her shift at 3:30 at Central. And then Ken meets her there, so they're not going together.
And our bank is over by,
Well, she should be coming here to check in. How would she be going from her house?
Because that's where she
They
starts her
have to
shift.
come
so
and
she
clock
leaves-
in.
Yeah, so she gets there at 3:30. Managers can put in in punch if someone's going to outreach to start the day. She gets there at 3:30.
Do you guys have any recommendations or ideas on how we can make the bank deposits?
Okay,
Do you have any
recommendation.
ideas?
During the workday, Joanne can take another person from circulation desk, it's always two of them sitting there, and they can go together in a van, driving one car and deposit the money.
Okay, can you review staffing and see if there is any volunteers for two people to make the deposit together?
Do we want to do the two same people and do a procedure for this?
I would want to, yeah. Joanne, what is there anything in addition to, like, what is the treasurer supposed to do, or what is it that's missing? Is it just the deposit, or is it
Well,
the
they
county,
have
the
to count
county?
the money. And
But you
then-
just said you counted it when you took it
But
out,
then
didn't
it's
you?
a second count, then the person who's gonna deposit has to do the second count to verify that.
The second
Money
count is the
reports.
deposit at the bank. If we can't trust you, then we
why-
shouldn't
but
be
the thing is,
employing
you
you.
have to
Only one
plan,
person counting,
because
not-
that's just when stuff happens. When you start saying, oh, we can trust so-and-so, that's when stealing stuff.
And when
How
it
many
doesn't,
years
the
she's
first
working
time it
this
doesn't
job?
match.
What's wrong with you?
Marge, the
No,
first time,
Look, how many places did you see cities all around the suburbs that have been ripped off by their city clerks or their treasurers? PTAs and Little Leagues that the treasurers have walked off with the money.
see, the treasurer always does it.
No, I mean,
I'm just saying,
seriously, you can
she-
see it in the news all the
But
time.
this was
That
done
is
the
one thing that
same
I have learned from being
way.
on the board, is never become complacent about the people that you work
You've been
with.
there 24 years.
You
What do
better-
recommend?
yeah.
Who
What
was
do you
doing the
recommend?
deposit money?
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying.
We
You've been there
cannot
24
have public comment.
Okay, okay. Deborah, can you answer?
She was
what
doing
they do
all
for
this
the last
time.
24 years?
All these years, how many years the library exists, 75 years and over? It was done the same way, and now suddenly we have a problem.
This is not a sudden issue. We've had this in place because our auditors found that this was an issue a couple years ago, which is why we had to get you bonded, why we had to pay for the...
No, I was bonded before. The treasurer was bonded even before. Somebody twisted the words and says the treasurer is bonded, has to make the
Okay,
deposit.
well, the only
Nothing
reason
to
this
do
is a
with that.
sudden issue is because we have money at the bank that hasn't been deposited.
I guess we don't get water and coffee today, there's no.
There was a ton of refreshments at the last meeting that no one showed up to. So,
Oh, so then
So
we're
it's
punished, because
No.
I'm sick and she worked, we're punished for no.
so I'm sorry that Danielle did not put that out today. I'm sorry that Danielle did not put that out. It's not a requirement. of
Bottled
her.
water? We pay for bottled water in this meeting, and you can't put 6 bottles
Can
of
you
water
ask
there?
Danielle, can you please have
Are
a
you
table for
kidding
us
me?
at the next meeting?
Are you
Have you
kidding
asked Danielle that?
We set it up once, we're never gonna get.
Why would you assume that she has to do it?
We have to
didn't say
ask,
her,
we are
anybody.
in a meeting set all the time for 4 to 5 hours?
I don't
Come
know,
on.
we've sat here for 23 years and didn't have water presented to us.
Oh, yes,
Well,
you
you
did.
should have asked for it.
Yes, you did.
Occasionally.
Yes, you did. I was at those
When
meetings.
Heather.
Alright, so, moving on. If you want water or refreshments at the meeting, please let Danielle know prior to the meeting and she will be happy to either purchase them.
So that's pointless. Let's go, come back to this thing. I'm done with this. Let's go.
Okay, no, the issue for bank deposits is not resolved. So, please check to see if we can have 2 volunteers make the bank deposit. And I guess one of those would also be counting the money. So, can you look for the next meeting, Joanne? Can you look me up what does the treasurer do?
What is the
Tell her,
bond
read the
about?
statute.
What
You got
is
it
the-
right there.
what
Because
is
you don't make the
bond?
treasurer's report, you're not making the deposit, you're not counting the money.
Right. It's a fake job, just like the vice president. What does the vice president do?
Well, that's why we never
And
had
our
a vice
committees.
president.
Right.
What do the committees do?
They're all
Nothing.
fake jobs.
We don't
They're
have
all fake
committees.
jobs.
Exactly.
And
We
we
have
didn't-
to have committees. We don't have them.
If you have a suggestion of what committee we should have,
Every
we're all
month,
ears.
None. We're all gonna get up and leave because this is so
I'm
ridiculous.
just gonna go to the bathroom. I'm not leaving.
Why can't Joanne get bonded then?
She counts the money.
Why can't someone else count it? And then she's bonded to go take it.
Yep.
There you
Because
go.
Johanna is right over there with her. Let her count the money.
So once we have a director, this issue is resolved. This is only an issue because we don't have a
Forget
director.
about the director for months. Because the 2 directors that are in here that we're gonna get to, one is not qualified and one keeps skipping around and been to 6 libraries. So in my opinion, those 2 aren't even good. So you're still way a few months off. You might as well just get Joanne bonded and let someone else count the money.
Well, I would suggest.
That's her
find
job.
out- Let's find out what the bond really covers or doesn't cover.
Okay.
Is
I
Natasha
know.
right, or?
So you're gonna be gonna.
You wanna fill Sam?
Sorry for that question.
No, I'm sorry, I just didn't want to add to
You
the
got all these-
argument.
you got all these years of service here, somebody should know an idea of them.
What are you doing on
If you wanna
stage?
order pizza, deliver by midnight.
Why, if the treasurers of the libraries and any public municipalities, any treasurer has to be bonded because of the money, to reassure that money that's in the banks.
All days I don't bring my suitcase with all my information. What is the bylaws on the website say?
It's not
The
bylaws,
treasurer's
that
on
would
there.
be what does bonding?
No, Rosa said, what is
I have it
our,
somewhere and I
what is our
forgot
thing
it.
say about what the treasurer does? What's the duties of the treasurer?
Okay,
Of
so
our bylaws?
we'll look that up. So bank deposits right now, where we're leaving it
Let's
is,
put the useless vice president in.
See if we
We
can do
never had vice
volunteers.
presidents.
I know,
No, we
but it
didn't.
was in there in one spot and not in the other spot. The
alright,
vice
so
president
are
just
we
takes
good
Rosa's
with
spot.
bank
Right
deposits?
here.
We are gonna see if we can get 2 volunteers to count the money and make the deposit together.
All right.
I can do it if it gets desperate.
Okay.
If it wasn't $1,600 of coins, I would just take the money right with me right now. So,
It's not.
Just forget
it's
it.
not the
It doesn't need to
cutting,
be
it's
so
the
many
idea
It's
of-
the idea of the bond, is we just wanna be
change of
protected in case
protect
something happens to the
everybody.
money. Okay, so moving on to the hotspot service plan renewals. Okay, this one was on the agenda the last month, because a lot of them expired at the same time. I know, I told Danielle originally, it's within budget, renew them all. She did a straw vote, there was a lot of different opinions, then the meeting got canceled, so, I had instructed her to just renew, I think, 12, at the suggestion, like, that was the least that we, I think, agreed on. So then I said, do the 12, and then
yeah, I
as soon
talked to
as,
Brown about it too, and he came to agreement, and then I talked to Danielle. So I thought we were in agreement with it when you
But
sent out
everyone
the
didn't
email,
agree.
but
Yeah,
nobody
no.
agreed.
yeah, so the board didn't agree, so we have these on hold all the time.
But the other 5, you're gonna renew automatically in September then, right? So we're gonna
I
have
said-
That's what we
17.
wanna do.
So we're gonna have 17.
Okay, if that's, well, that will be when they go
Okay,
for renewal.
but we
I
need
didn't
to know when they're up for renewal, not just they're expired.
February, well, I didn't know until I
Right.
sat on hold with T-Mobile for 2.5 hours trying to figure out what was wrong. And they're like, it's not T-Mobile, these plans
Okay.
expired,
Okay, so
so.
we
Well,
don't
so
have to
right
go-
now, we only have 12 that are good to go and running. However, I know.
No, we have
five.
17.
We have
seven-
17,
Oh, okay.
so we have 17 total, so we're good right now.
Oh,
But
okay.
in September, then if we just go ahead and renew the other 5, we should be good because there are, of the 17, I think there were 2 last week that hadn't gone out, that were sitting there, so 17.
You know, originally
So
Ron
this is
said
circulation.
around 15,
Yeah.
15 to 17, and I said just go with 17, but, so we have to make a note, like in August, to
Yeah.
renew it, or are they all T-Mobile?
It's not the, yeah, they're all T-Mobile, but it wasn't a T-Mobile issue, it's through Mobile Beacon, they do our.
But I mean, like, they wouldn't let us kind of like,
Don't they let
so
you
they're
know,
all
like,
at
it's
one
expired?
They
time?
were, well, I think we had, however many we had, probably 10, and then when the pandemic hit, we
yes.
got more, so that's
But I
how
mean,
we
right
ended up
now,
with
I
20.
wonder if we called them and said,
Could we group them together?
could we renew the other ones now just for 6 months, so when they're all up
It'll-
at
Oh, they're up at
once?
the same time, that's what you're saying?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
can
yeah,
reach
yeah,
out
yeah.
to Colin at Mobile
I mean,
Beacon.
it's not a big deal, it's a, thank you for doing that, Cindy, I appreciate that.
And patrons are very, very happy, so thank you.
Okay.
Yes, we had several come to the meeting. They
Yeah,
were,
you're old and
to let them know how unhappy they were.
That's what happened.
All right, online banking, so right now, we don't do online banking, and I know there's a big push to, hey, do automated payments. So those companies that cannot debit us directly, I know sometimes we can pay them electronically, but we currently do not have that capability because we do not have online banking. So are we all in agreement that we should move to online banking?
What bank
No,
do we
not online
have?
banking. I
That
don't
doesn't
know.
have online.
You don't want online
No, no,
banking?
no. She's talking about get online banking, like a login, not auto pay. That's where everyone's getting confused. So
Okay.
you want online banking.
Yeah.
The only ones you want to auto pay, like take out of your debit, is the utilities. The rest, once we approve them, you go click them the next day. Like if it's a credit card, you pay it
Is that what you're talking
manually.
about?
Yeah.
There, you don't put all the bills on auto pay. That's where the confusion was
Yeah.
with the email.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like, for instance, with my business, my ComEd, my Nycor, they're all on auto pay. I can't change them even if I wanted to. But my credit card, I physically go, pay how much I want, click, and it's instant. Forget about the
Next day.
stamps and the late charges and all this. Once we approve it, the next day,
After
she
the
can go
meeting, it
click,
should
click,
be go
click
and
and
click.
pay it.
Yep. That's-
It takes maybe, it'll take you less time, Joanne, than getting envelopes, putting stamps on them,
Right.
walking to the mailbox. It'll be so easy, as long as it's the bills that we agreed on.
That's,
And the ones like for performers and that you hand them, then you hand it to them. That's, you
That's
still
when you
have to
have to-
sign it.
Okay.
You still are gonna have to sign a few, but it's more gonna be like authorizing for a click. You know what I
Versus,
mean?
Check, yeah.
And some of them actually even give you discounts. Comcast gives you $5 for going paperless,
Well,
or,
that depends, is that in business or is that personal?
that's business. That's
Oh,
my
okay.
business.
That's what I'm asking.
No, no, no.
Because you have
My
experience
personal,
in
Jeff,
that.
he don't
Yeah.
get
No,
discounts,
no,
he
no,
never gets discounts. No, my business.
Okay.
If you do auto pay and you do paperless, $5 each, $5 each.
Yeah.
So it has its perks too.
Yeah, I have that for.
And I
free.
mean, I hate to say it, but we're just getting away from paper. We can't because we physically have to look at it, but we don't have to be mailing out checks and stamps and envelopes.
And paperless, you can still go physically and you log in, you print out the statement for our records.
Right there. I mean, it's like instantaneous.
Okay, so all of this is possible if
Yeah.
we set up online banking. So are we in agreement that we need online banking?
Yes.
Okay, is there a motion for us to?
Again, what do you mean by online banking?
We need a login. So our same bank account, same everything. Right now, how she reconciles everything is through what, QuickBooks? Like,
If
different
she logs
software?
on right now to say US Bank, I don't know what bank we
Yeah.
have. If she goes to US Bank on the computer, she has no online banking. She can't pay the bill. She doesn't have a login. She can't get in.
Oh.
That's what
Okay, gotcha.
online
Now I
banking
understand.
is.
So
Never
sign up
mind.
for a login
I do
ID.
it from my phone.
I can do it from my phone too. I
Yeah.
have 4
Yes,
different ones.
do we have to make a
That's
motion
the
to
next
that?
All right, yep, so is there a motion
I
to
make a motion
approve?
to do online banking.
Okay.
Second.
Just one question, how does that work? And Debbie, because you have the business, you can best answer that. With all this hacking accounts and stuff like that. I mean, we've
Well, our
got.
You just don't
And
give
this
your
stuff-
number out.
Well, IT
No.
company is giving us protection, so don't worry about that.
That's what the token backup things are, right? If I'm not
Token for logging
mistaken.
into the computer.
Yeah.
So we don't
The
get held,
carnival.
so we don't get held hostage.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
all right.
And I do that for so many years too, with the business and,
I was nervous, I never got onto online banking, even for the first probably 3 years of my business, because I was so scared, like, someone's gonna get in my account, and you have to take a chance, and if you're FDIC
Yep.
insured and all that, and I did, and knock on wood, I never had a problem yet. And I love it, because I forget, I'll have stacks of bills like this, and then I just go like, click, 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 and then they're done.
yeah.
And then it's faster, it's easier, it's faster, and I can log in and print out all the statements, a copy of the check if I deposit checks right from my phone now.
Oh, yeah.
That was really
Yes.
scary
Yeah.
to do at first, but,
don't
you know,
do
we're
that.
in a different century, we're in a different,
All right, so there was a motion, there was a second.
Who was the second?
Sam.
Sam, okay. All right, Natasha?
Yes.
Sam?
Yes.
Debbie?
yes.
Sylvia?
Yes.
Marge, yes? Rosa?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, done.
The next one you did, right?
Yep, so we
Wait,
can
real
move on.
fast, just going back to that, are we having, somewhere in Joanne's office or a file somewhere of all these logins that we have for all these different
have a
accounts?
notebook
Or
now?
Danielle, do you have a notebook, or where is all this information being stored?
We created a Google spreadsheet among all the managers for logins for generic things, but all the business stuff Joanne has separate, so that's not common knowledge, so you have that saved. Where,
And you, speaking for what you said, you have it on Google, but do you also have it on paper someplace?
Like if Google crashes?
it's like a Google form, it's digital, it's a sheet we can print out.
Yeah, but this login information, like for the banks and all the,
That's not, that's.
I will
she has
say, this- I will
personal,
just
yeah.
put this on the paper, I will not. I mean, what if somebody access Google?
Yeah, all the
I don't
business
know
stuff
about
that's
Google.
really,
I don't use the Google
expensive,
stuff.
she has.
Put it under 500 meeting.
On paper.
Yeah, you have, we've got a safe or something, you keep that stuff in, right? Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, so we are moving, to
I
later.
removed, we are done with that, right?
Yep, we are moving that. Okay, so now unfinished business, so the license plate renewals.
Are
Okay,
we done with that?
what questions do we have about the balancing? What doesn't match? The last email I thought was pretty clear. Did that go out to everybody?
Yes, it did.
It did.
I mean,
Okay.
it's still gonna match because you guys have $10,219, but then we have extra $87.7. It didn't, in the actuals in the budget, it said we had only $168 profit. So is that not real numbers?
That was everything that was from license plate was deposited into that account, so every single transaction on the spreadsheet Joanne did was like by date, like credit card, cash, whatever.
Yeah, I got
So-
that spreadsheet
Yeah, so
6 times.
everything, yeah.
And what
so
was $24? No one ever
It
got
was,
back to me.
it was a senior freeze thing, it was like the senior price for a sticker.
I never even heard of that. I looked online, I didn't even see that.
Mhm.
And I don't know why somebody would pay $9.50 to do it, if they're so worried about saving $24.
Yeah.
Okay, so now is the time to ask questions about the numbers. What doesn't so the license plate account itself matches, the cash isn't in there, but Joanne took it from the general fund. And so whenever we end up making this cash deposit,
We made the transfer already.
Yeah, so once the cash is deposited, it'll be back in the general fund.
But we're out of the license thing.
the account itself is closed, or not closed, the
Done.
processing
The
of
service is done.
offering it, yes. So that's done. But the license plate account now has a total of $10,219.78.
Correct.
And that's gonna be closed out and returned to general fund?
Yeah, so what's gonna happen with that account? Are we closing?
When you tell me to close it, then all that's gonna happen is it's gonna be closed, but that money's gonna go right back into the checking account.
Into the general fund, okay.
Right.
So I think this account is the reason for the holdup for some of the audit staff. So.
Are they making a presentation or?
Not until, they cannot come out until we let them know all of our concerns are resolved. So that's why I want to spend as much time on this that we need. What questions do we have about the license plate account?
I mean, I don't know. It's still, you guys, it's never gonna match because whoever started this didn't know what they were doing. Allegedly, we were making $3 a transaction and we sold 44 stickers. Then you guys say we made 45 stickers. Either way, if we sold 44 stickers, it's only $132. So I don't know where there's $219.78. So obviously, it's never gonna match.
I think if it's a cash transaction, there's not a big fee because ProPay takes that like 2.5 or whatever.
Right, but
percent.
we originally charged like $9.50.
That was the state fee that they
Right.
charge, so we don't get that.
So what are we getting?
Whatever's on the ProPay printouts is the total. Like if the plate was, what was it, do you have the ProPay printouts?
No, that's why the previous director said just go by the figure of $3. Because $9.50 gets split in half by the,
But not 3 exact.
No, they're not all the same price either, so I don't know how he could just say $3, like I don't think.
well, that's why I
Well, some of
mean, it's
it-
never gonna
that
match.
is a service
I'm voting present for it, you guys vote what you want. You
Well, all
wanna
the
say-
money that was made from license plates from, like, compared to the Joanne, Kate, and I all sat together, went over the SSLT spreadsheet, the ProPay accounts, the cash transactions. And so if we, with ProPay, if a sticker was $160.50, what we got from ProPay was $157.06. But then,
You gotta pay the state.
yeah, you have to pay the state.
So what's the profit dollar on that? I have a calculator, what do you need?
So I don't know what it would be. So it would be, we had to pay the state $151 probably, that's what a sticker costs, because I just bought
Yeah.
mine, $151. And then like the three, so yeah.
So that's like a $5? That's
Yeah.
$157.
Yeah, so then it would be $151 minus, I can't do that, $6, but then there's another fee.
There's this fee,
I can see.
$9.50 fee.
This is the $9.50 service fee. So we paid them, so we paid a service fee to SSLE. So
So
we
that's
weren't
what
making the
they charge,
$9.50 service
$9.50.
fee, we were paying them to do this.
So we lost money doing the
Well,
program.
we made $200 over the course of over a year, but.
No, but you're saying, the example that you just gave, you said we didn't make any money, so.
Well, that's what I'm thinking is.
So how did we make 200 and,
Well, that's all the money from license plate transactions. That's like everything
That's
that
what
we
I'm
got.
saying.
No, the $9.50, so when you come here to the library,
You pay the ones.
you pay, it's $151, that's just the amount itself for your sticker, right, in most of these, $151. Plus, for the library doing it, or for you not going to the state rubber, you have to pay $9.50, so that's $151 plus $9.50 is $160.50, right?
right?
So $160.50. And then, there was, so there you go, $160.50. So then from that, there was a credit card fee that gets deducted, so that's $3.40. So 160, oh, that's what it is? Okay, so it's so now it's 157.06. So,
That we got from ProPay and the ProPay account.
the ProPay transferred us 157. And the client paid 160, 160.50.
So 250, right?
Minus 157.06 is $3.44. Right, 157.06? So 160.50 minus 157.06 equals $3.44, so that is our profit.
And then that's for a 151 plate. If it was a 200, if it was a truck plate, it was more, right? Because there's different prices.
Yeah, some of these are 184, some of these are 171.
One's $24, so.
So we're making approximately $3.44
But the
to
same
$5-ish
fee is, service fee is $9.50.
For every plate.
for every plate that's
For
bought.
every
What if you pay cash?
There's no transaction fee from the credit card company.
You still pay the service fee for doing it here, $9.50,
Right.
but you don't get charged,
We don't get charged.
or we don't get charged $3.44 from the credit card company.
So if
then
people
you
pay
should be
cash, we
making
make
5
more.
something.
So then we should be making 5 something in those cases.
So if they paid cash, we made more. If they used a credit card, we didn't make as much because we had to pay a service fee. Okay. like two,
Whatever
what
you
is it, like
guys say.
2.5%.
I'm voting present about it, that's it. I'm not gonna waste another second adding up your guys' mistakes.
You're
This
voting
should have
for
been-
what?
This should have been transferred every single month to keep track of
I
it.
absolutely
It should have been an ongoing report every single month. This account was lost over a year and a half ago. It should have been done right the first time if you did an account, and it kept depleting every month, and every time, it's okay, you know, it's going back in the general fund, no, we're
Yes,
gonna
you're right,
move
it
it,
should
we're
have
gonna
been
move
done
it.
that way.
This money did not move until, where's that printout you just gave me?
Okay, you know,
It's-
Debbie.
So
you're
the
talking
board
about
never
how you want the
directed-
meeting to speed up.
The board never directed for the funds to move.
Well, that shouldn't happen, but the director was waiting to reach a threshold before he moved the money from the checking account into the license plate account. That's what he was waiting for. I was waiting for him to give me the direction, okay, we met the threshold, now.
Joanne, monthly, I asked you when I got on this board, why aren't we moving the money? Why aren't we moving the money?
Because I
So
was
don't
waiting-
say you're under the direction of him.
No,
This
I
is a
was-
board
I was-
decision.
I was under
This should have been
direction
on the board,
of the
this should have been with the
See, I
board.
don't understand why we have director telling somebody like her, going into her business about financial business. I don't think director should give direction in the financials.
No,
Yes,
the
because
director
the director is
should
the
be
director.
right underneath us, he should be working for us.
I mean, even
He
like
should be
when
telling us what's going on.
Kelly
or
was
she-
saying that
he or
director
she.
is the one who's
Okay,
gonna tell it from
you
which
you
account
want to
to be
speed the
taken.
meeting up, what are we going to do about it? Are you going to be, you're satisfied with it? Are you going to say to Rosa that
I'm gonna
she-
say that this account was handled completely wrong, but go ahead with the audit. That's what I'm saying. I'm
Okay.
not saying
That's-
it's
Go,
correct.
yeah,
go ahead with
that's
what
good.
audit?
That's
What, excuse me,
Whatever that guy wants to do. Hearn.
what do you mean? What do you think they want to do?
Don't they have to come give us a
the
presentation
audit?
like that?
So
to
they
finish
have
the
two
audit?
they have two options. Either, we have to make sure that everyone understands this license plate account. If you have no question, if you say, okay, yes, that makes sense, we made $3 to $5 per transaction, the money is all accounted for. If you can tell the audit people that, awesome, they will close their books and say everything is as it should be. If you do not agree and you do think that something was mishandled and something is not as it should be, the money is not there, then we need to tell them that they need to proceed with their fraud audit, and that is a whole separate audit that we would pay for.
No, this library needs a forensic audit. Someone needs to, I mean.
So
you
that's what
guys
they would
have-
do.
They don't do it. They don't do it. I already asked them. They don't even do it. We paid this guy all this money and nobody even found out that they don't even do forensic audits themselves. They have to go outside and find another company.
Okay.
So,
So would
And
you
want
like,
us to
and
come-
here's the thing, is do you really think that someone was stealing, or was it?
I think it's,
mismanaged?
everything has been, several things have been misappropriated, yes, I do. I definitely think when you have a handheld shower color changing LED light for free in the library, Starbucks gift cards free in the library, when you have cases and cases of toilet paper with only the employees here, cases and cases of hand soap every month with only the employees here, I don't know how you're going through all this stuff. I don't know where all the old computers are. The previous director didn't have the keys, couldn't show us. We don't know where the old TVs are, where the old computers are. We don't know where any of that stuff is. Yes, I do think some things were misallocated and misappropriated. Not unlawfully, maybe not purposely.
Okay, well, that's,
Maybe not
when
purposely.
it comes to the audit, that's,
Maybe not purposely, is what I'm
Okay,
adding
then-
on the end of it. I'm not saying somebody willfully went along and opened a bank account and stole money.
Okay.
I'm not saying that. There has been some misallocations and misappropriations.
even after with what Kelly explained about like the general, like the 10, the
Yes, and if
14?
she's been here for 10 to 12 years, to email me a 3-page thing and put in your note, I have not done a complete fraud investigation. She should have described that a little bit better, but that's okay. Whatever you guys want to do, if you want them to come, my thoughts on this is still, it was mishandled. It was mishandled. Danielle's agreeing with me or not agreeing with me. It was mishandled from the jump,
day
when
one.
it started. So,
That's why.
that's my opinion.
Which is fine, and I
That's
think
my
we're all in
opinion.
agreement how they said, you know, the credit card, the whole processing of it, like, which is fine, which is why we agreed that we are no longer doing the license plate account. We're not against you on that.
And
We
Kelly said
just-
that too, it was just quick and jump in, and there wasn't anything really said.
I think they jumped in it too quick, but I don't want you to just be okay and say, you know, like, it's not, you're not to blame, and it's, and I think it's two people, it's not even just you. Like, if there's concerns about the accounts, let's try to clear this up so that we can find out what to do with the auditors. So we're not rushing you. That's not an issue. The fines are not an issue. I think it's like $5 a day, and hopefully we can get them waived.
Well, I
We've
don't,
given
when
them-
Danielle called, why didn't you just say we need 30 days, or we
We
need
did.
60 days?
did.
Oh, the email said that if we don't file it on March 7th, we're gonna.
No, if we file it by March 7th, we don't have to do anything else. But
Well,
they're
that's
saying-
impossible to file it anyhow, because
Yeah.
Hearn's not even here.
So if it's cleared up and they present on the 22nd, I can email them back and say it'll be finished on the 23rd to update them.
Well, I think we should just let us review it again, because now this is the first time I'm even seeing the bank statement. This bank statement is only from what you deposited, so you mean this bank statement had $10,000 and nothing? This is 2 pages long.
What's your question on it?
Joanne, where's the rest of the bank statements? I mean,
That's the license, that's just for the license plate account. That's the new statement that just came out.
not a new
today.
statement, this is, I want it every single month since you opened it.
You want the bank account, bank statements for all of the.
Since we
previous-
opened the account,
Okay,
yeah, it
I
should
wasn't
come in one
aware
page.
That's what you wanted.
Pardon?
I wasn't aware that's what you wanted.
Well, if I'm looking at the account, why would I just
Exactly.
want one
What do you-
statement?
what do you-
I don't want all the statements, don't you have where you can just
You
print
just
out
said you wanted all of the statements.
the state, well, but you don't have to print it out like a statement like this unless this is the only way you know how to do it. You can't just put like a whole like date, like December 31st through,
So not the
And it
bank,
prints out?
not the bank generated, which we don't have online banking, right?
Yeah,
So you
this-
can't
this
do
the
that.
bank generated.
That's why.
bank statement.
Because we don't have online banking,
Well,
so you
then
can't
you can
filter.
pull out all your
Oh,
financial.
you know what I'm talking
all the
about, right?
treasurer's
That's
reports,
what it's called,
It's
filter.
on there. I could reprint all the treasurer's reports if you like, and. 'cause-
no, I don't want the treasurer's report. I want an actual bank statement done.
Okay, then I gotta print
Okay.
12 months of bank statements then. Is that
So
what you
we
want?
have to meet in 2 weeks, so I'll pick up the bank statements and I'll
Okay,
look
which-
it over
From what date to what date do you want bank
from
statements?
when it was opened.
So you want all the bank statements?
From since this account was open for
Okay, so
this
you want
account.
License plates, bank statements,
Not for all of our accounts or anything, just this account.
okay.
I think it was
I will have to-
September.
I'm gonna have to make copies of those.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
September of 21.
I think we just put this on, I'll let you, I'll look at them and I'll let you know if Vern could come on the next,
Okay.
because we have to meet again in 2 weeks.
Yep.
This is crazy. So I'll pick them up whenever, Joanne, just tell me. You don't have to rush, I'm not saying tomorrow.
Well, I should just do this right away because this needs to get resolved.
Well, you have 2 weeks to actually resolve it.
Okay, so we will give the auditors an update that you just need to look at the statements, but also just keep in mind, like, the statements doesn't have much activity, right? Because it's, everything went to the
Is
general
everything
fund.
blank? Do you have it in a folder? Can you just bring it down and let me look at it?
I can
Is it
print out
blank?
now.
I mean, is there any deposits or anything in
Is
it?
there activity on the statements that you're aware of? Like, I know you don't know for sure, but like most of them, do they have activity?
It's a bank, the regular bank statement, it tells you any deposits, any deductions.
Oh, so there will be, because if someone deposited cash, you would have deposited it in there?
Yeah, well, no, it's just strictly for the license plates account.
Right, but if they paid cash, did you put the cash in the
No,
license plate account?
If they paid cash, it went directly to the,
General fund.
the general fund,
Nothing
which is
was
the
moved
checking.
See,
account.
that's the sketchiest, I mean, I'm not saying someone did it on purpose, but it's so.
It's
Like,
you
that's why it
don't
was
you don't
mishandled, yes.
operate like that.
poor operating.
Right, but that's
Very poor
why,
operating.
right, and I get it. That's why we need to look at how many there were, the math on there, and then that's why she moved from the general fund to the license plate account. Because the credit card, you know, because we use the same credit card machine for, you know, books
Everything.
versus the license plates. That's why it's all going to the general fund.
Okay.
So it was just doing the transfers, but we weren't doing them monthly and we weren't doing them, you know, I guess as often as we should.
So now that we just moved all the money from the general fund into this fund, just to show me that we made money, now we're gonna close the account and put it back in the general fund. So basically, we just did a shell game, and now it's over.
Right, that's why she was saying that some people, because, that maybe the reasoning behind it was, you know, we don't earn interest on this license plate account versus we do on the general fund account. And so, because the money's gonna end up there anyway, some people don't replenish it. But I get that, yes, causes confusion and things like this.
I don't like when things are like a shell game, where you have to go dig around and find them. Just show us where it is. That's why I don't understand with that payroll for the safety officer, going back to that with the building fund, why was that never on any check summary or anywhere for us to even know that was going on? We would have never known that was going on if we didn't ask for the building fund itemization. We never approved that every meeting, but we approved payroll warrants.
No, didn't she say, wait, was it part of the general fund?
It's general
It's
fund.
the general, it was part of the general fund.
The,
But it was
The
under
safety officer
salary
pay?
line. It was under a building and maintenance line, it wasn't under the.
In
but
the
it wasn't
general
under
fund.
the salary, and we
Yeah.
have to approve people's salary. That was another sketchy.
No,
It's not that it's sketchy, it's that's,
That's not the right word, but it's like, you know what I mean?
When you do the salary raises each year, when I would give you those spreadsheets,
Yeah.
for the safety officer, there was this extra column that said safety officer as a percentage. And then that's what you guys approved when you did salary increases every year. So if you go back and look at your spreadsheets, when.
Oh, I wasn't here then. I didn't
So,
approve
but it's
that.
on there.
You did.
It's on there.
I wasn't here.
okay, so what would you like to see, because the bank statements are not gonna show
The
deposits
right
like that.
thing. So I
Right.
guess I'm just gonna have to say it's okay.
We don't want you to, like, I don't want you to feel that way.
But I'm not gonna feel any differently, Rosa. That's my feelings, that it was handled improperly, and it's not gonna change. It's
Well, and
just-
that's okay to say, you
Right.
can tell the auditors, I believe it was mishandled.
That's what I'm gonna tell them.
But
But go ahead with the audit.
yeah, you just gotta let them know, like, if you have actual fraud concerns where you think money is missing,
Right.
like, where someone maybe stole money or something, we just wanna make sure that you clarify that with them, because I don't know
Okay.
if maybe that's their interpretation of it.
Okay.
So yes, mishandling is okay to say, and you're okay to feel how you feel. But we just need to make it clear to them, it's not that we suspect that someone stole money or money is missing, it's just that, it should have
It's
been
just bad
handled differently.
bookkeeping and it was
Yeah.
a bad idea from the get-go.
So I
Let's stick
believe,
to books and crafts. Let's
so the
not worry
auditors
about that.
stated that there are, I think, 2 people who had said that they had fraud concerns, so those 2 people need to speak to the auditors in order for them to come out.
Well, I'm one of them, I don't care.
Okay.
So whoever else is.
So it doesn't matter who it was,
Whatever.
just, you need to speak to the auditors before they can come out.
Okay.
Do you want me to email the auditors and say, once you hear from the 2 people, can you let us know?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we should probably make room for it on the agenda, and it's probably gonna be a long time, right?
The presentation?
No, it's not.
It's not? Okay. Okay.
But it will be, when they come out, yes, it
Yeah,
would be
that's what I'm
added to the
saying.
agenda. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they're added to the agenda, but it's just like
usually
the,
15,
it's just
20
like the, like Kelly. Okay, so, are we okay with moving on from the license plate account? We'll leave it as unfinished
Yes.
business until the auditors say we're good to go,
Okay.
all right? The outdoor sign, so I think we're just still waiting on quotes, right?
Well, then I can reach out to Stewart and Olympic and see if they can send updated quotes, and
Okay.
great, I can.
But the thing is, well, I know you're leaving, Danielle, too, so it's probably gonna take time. It has to be the same quote. We can't just get 2 quotes for 2 different signs.
Well, I
right?
don't know, like, that was just stuff.
Like, I know you
about
just
the
pulled it
sign.
out of file, I'm not saying you
No, but
personally,
I'm saying I don't
but
even know
whoever
what-
calls, it has to be similar. Like, one of the quotes, it was like a $10,000 difference because they're not installing it, or they're using the old
No,
cabinet, or
One, you had to do your own wiring too, I remember.
do your own, yeah, your own electric.
We would
It
have
was
to-
like,
one
here,
was
it's from Amazon.
included the
We're shipping
wiring,
it to you.
one, we would have to hire another contractor to do the wiring.
Yeah.
They just
Okay,
set the sign up.
can you write this down of what, these are the things that we need the quote for? The installation, the removal of the old sign,
Yeah, one wanted to use the old cabinet, I think.
and
or
this,
something
and
nasty.
then just the sign itself, right? Those 3 things, we just need the, how much is the sign itself? How much is it for the actual installation? And how much is it to
For the
remove?
connection, not, because installation can just mean.
Installation
putting-
and connection.
Okay, like this one here says and they didn't call you back. but
Oh,
this
on
was
warranty,
from the
is there
village.
warranty?
It says manufacture, install, and electrically connect,
Mm-hmm.
new double-face monument sign. But what size do we want? So the one by
Oh,
the village
size.
says
That's
2.5 by 7 by 3,
That's,
Yeah,
that's
that's-
great,
I
he
like
doesn't
that
call us
size.
back.
and it's LED. That's nice.
2.5 by 7 by 3.
It says 2.5 by 7 feet 3 inches, yes.
Well, I was just gonna call and say, can you give us a quote for a sign that looks like the one at the.
And then there's
And
variations.
the pixels are,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's variation in those pixels, some millimeters, there's like
Okay, so
9,
pixels, add pixels.
it's not called
Is that what
pixels.
you're gonna say?
It's not
Yeah,
something
the more,
else.
the more pixels, the better the picture.
Yeah, so,
Okay, so it's not called pixels, but the whatever clarity.
And this one has 5
LED,
years parts
whatever.
warranty.
What bulb do they use?
Right,
I don't know what that
here,
means.
parts warranty.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Warranty.
yeah, but at least if we're on the same, like
Put everyone on the same
2 by
agenda.
5, let's say, or 5 by 7, if we're on the same size, and, you know,
Yeah.
Okay.
This one
But
has
it's
a
got to be-
salesperson's name, Gil Algarin from the village. Maybe if you call the person directly. Or maybe if we ask Mitch. Yeah, that's from 2018, and that was 24,000. We don't know.
That's getting a long time.
We
Okay,
don't know.
so we will keep that under unfinished business. The server backup quote,
This was the cloud storage that was tabled last time.
Oh, we were saying no to that, I thought. Didn't we say?
oh
we were-
yeah, we don't need that.
Didn't we say we were backing up on the paper and printing it? It was mostly, didn't you say, Danielle, it was mostly like calendars
Yeah,
and
it's nothing.
stuff like that was dramatically, if it was gonna be lost, and it was mostly already printed out,
Yeah.
possibly?
Then if we're not doing cloud storage, is why we have to find out about IT savvy, what the physical storage is done. Okay, so this is a miracle one.
Oh, wait,
So
wait,
we're
wait.
gonna wait till we hear from that place again, table it again?
Yeah. This one, if we're not doing the cloud storage, this is what this is.
So we're not doing this.
Is that what everybody?
Are we voting no to that?
Wait, I'm trying to understand this. So we have that IT savvy,
They were the old IT company. And then when we needed to outsource IT, it was between IT savvy and OSG, correct?
Yeah, but I think they service the,
They service this, that was what we thought. We think they service the server, that's what we have to check into. And if they service the server and us not keeping their physical backup, that's gonna jeopardize that, then we have to stay with them for the physical backup, so we couldn't do OSG. So we need to find out from Brian at OSG and IT Savvy what is going on with that physical backup. Correct?
So you're
Okay,
saying,
because
okay,
what
we
I
had-
understood
We
that
had
we-
IT savvy for the physical backup, but it is their machine.
Yes.
But we are going with the
OSG.
OSG.
This was
So
something new.
if we go with OSG or we have, then we have a problem because.
Well, we have to find out, yeah, we have to find out if it's something we have to just take over, if they
Got
can just
hurt?
take over
No,
IT
from that
Savvy
Guillain-Barré
or not, so we have to
disease.
find out from IT Savvy.
okay, because what I understood,
Like autoimmune disease?
when this guy was talking, I mean, maybe he didn't know, that we own that server, it's
At least I'm
ours.
walking.
And we are backing up by ourselves,
We're still paying for it.
we don't pay nothing.
No, we're still paying for the server, we're not done paying for it yet.
The backup is something different from the server.
Yeah, this physical
I
server
understand that, but I
itself.
thought we own the server and we are doing our own backup, so we don't pay nobody to do that
We
for us.
finance the server.
Yeah, we're still
We
financing.
finance the server, but we have to pay for backup, for the data.
Can you give us a number for the next meeting, how much are we paying that? Versus how much is it gonna cost us this?
Yeah, well, that's what we have to find out, if we have to stay with IT Savvy because it's hooked to that server financing somehow, that's what we have to find out.
Because we didn't pay it off yet, you mean?
We haven't paid off the server yet, no.
So
like,
shouldn't
have
we
to-
stay with them for the backup?
That's what we need to find out.
Well,
That's gonna be-
or, and also, see that, but I will ask this tech company, if we go with them, and we don't need that server, I mean, can we sell the server? How we do that? I mean, I don't understand.
We need the server.
We need the server. It's the big thing up in admin behind the green wall.
Oh, that thing that we just paid that
Yeah.
whole thing to be cooled?
Yeah, that thing that is hold on.
I,
nice
these
and
are the ones I remove myself, I don't know anything about the subject.
No,
Whatever
but
you
we are
guys go
paying the
with.
company to back it up for us.
But I don't know if we have to go with them, or if we can switch to OSG. I don't know if because we're financing that server, if like it's hooked to IT Savvy somehow for the backup. Like if it's something we can say, no, we're
She gotta
canceling
find
you
out.
and going to
If it's,
OSG.
That's what you're saying.
one is a
Yeah.
Ford
Okay.
and one is a
Because we are buying it
Chevy,
from the
does
company.
that part, will that go between the Ford and the Chevy?
Okay, so we gotta table it anyway, because
Yeah.
we still got more information we need.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes,
so we'll
find
see-
out that.
leave
But
it for
the cloud
unfinished.
was a no then, right? The cloud storage, is that the one? This is what code 706 was, the cloud storage from January.
Well, but that's just what we're saying is, we may need that if we.
Yeah, no, we don't need a cloud storage, that's the one actually with the flyers and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is like everything would be saved in the cloud in the event there was a fire or the building exploded and we lost the physical backup. But if you don't think we need cloud storage and
No, we
the
don't.
physical backup, then we don't have to worry about this.
We are not sort of business that.
It'd be a pain in the butt to redo, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, it's not like you're a bank and you have all these accounts, or
Right.
you're a tax service that
We're not
you
gonna
do
not function.
taxes and there's a lot of stuff.
If our
No.
server goes down, we can still be up and running.
Yeah, that one I would say no.
All right, so then is there a motion to, how do we say no to this?
I make a motion not to get the backup. That's what you want?
To
From
the cloud,
OSG.
for the cloud.
No clouds.
From OSG, you're saying?
From
I
OSG.
mean, we still need a backup.
Now, this is a backup
This is
cloud.
the cloud one that he talked about with the
Yeah.
last meeting.
Yeah.
So then, instead of that, so then is that what the other quote that we were talking about is, that instead of, if we don't do the cloud, should we need then a second server in a separate location? Right?
That's what he said.
It would probably, we should probably do one or the other, or none, if we think that we would still function. It'd be a pain in the butt, right, because all of our policies, all of our, flyers and stuff are on there, so it'd be a pain in the butt,
But they're online,
but,
on the
right.
website, right?
Both things are digitized, yeah.
So, do we really need either or? The cloud, we already said no to, or did we table it?
For, this one was tabled last time, the cloud storage, this one we tabled for the physical backup, because we have to check with IT Savvy to see if.
You're gonna check that.
And then, did he say we needed the physical backup for cybersecurity with Mira?
What about the
I-
carnival coins? Wasn't that for?
That's just for login.
This is
I
like
still
for,
can't comprehend
Instead of sending you, like when you go on a website, it sends you a code. Instead of sending you a code on your phone, it does with that token.
so we don't have to use our phones, it just sends the
Oh,
code to
yeah.
the token.
that. Okay.
Carnival coins.
Carnival coins. That's what
Okay,
they
so
were.
unfinished, because you need to confirm if it's related to IT Savvy? Okay, cool. All right, so let's move on. Security cameras, so we have 2 pending quotes, and we're gonna find out what the maintenance fee includes. So we're good to go there, right? Tabling, keeping that under unfinished. All right, director opening, so how many applications do we have?
3?
We have 3.
Yeah.
Have you done interviews with any of them? Okay.
It's that, and one of them, based on, based on the requirements, there's one person of the 3 that meets the requirements.
Yeah, but I think the last one, the third one was
The
the only
last one
I
that we
thought
got
was
that's not in a
interesting.
package, she was interesting.
Now, let's say names, let's not say that,
I don't know.
that confuses me when they just, the first
Okay,
one, the last one, 'cause it
initials,
depends on
so
how you do the
LK.
papers.
So MS,
MS. This is all okay?
Yeah.
Damn.
I know.
MS, no, not qualified.
Which one is the one that you said that bounced around?
I think it might have been.
LK.
LK bounced around?
Okay, and that's MS.
Okay.
Was it regional?
There's 3, yeah.
What was the other?
LK, MS,
Was
and
this the last one, the most interesting one?
interesting good or interesting bad?
And RB.
RB.
RB is interesting.
Maybe I don't do already.
It's the very last one.
Oh, I
Yeah, RB, I think. Was that the last one you said
Yes.
this by itself?
Oh, you sent it separately?
Yeah, it's in the packet, it's in the packet.
Can we say where she's working? I don't know.
No, because I think we still need more. I mean, you're not just gonna call in one person for all of us.
No, I'm saying, like, so they can find out who it is.
So are there any
The one that's
that we
dated
want
February
Joanne to
10th.
interview?
Well, I thought RB stated that they had done,
A lot of different.
but they also had done
Interim?
the interim, yes. And so therefore, they have experience in the upper level of management, not just management on a department level.
I
Yeah.
mean, My opinion,
Yes, that was the last one. But I would say get another one or two, maybe repost it again. Can you do that and change the date or no? Or how does it like work where it goes to the?
open till filled already.
It's open till filled.
No, but does it bump it up like, you know,
We could
like a
do, like,
Facebook dot or whatever you
I
do?
think we posted.
And just put repost.
Like, can you
Like
change the
recent-
date and?
Yes,
Like
it goes
it'll
on
go
the
to
top
the
of
top?
the rails.
And just highlight, like repost it. And then it should-
And you want to keep everything the same, salary rise and
Yes.
everything?
okay, regarding any of these three, do we want Joanne to interview anybody?
No, I think we should wait till we get another one.
Well, it doesn't.
Well,
have-
interview is just her preliminary, because I personally do not want to micromanage to that extent. I think the preliminary is go through Joanne and the director, the current interim, or
And she can do the
whoever
background
had.
check.
And then
Does no one in this group interest you at all?
One does, the last one.
The
RV.
RV?
Yeah.
And you don't want to interview that person?
Well, I thought we could get more like a selection, I mean, and what do you mean we're not gonna micromanage? We have to work with that person.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like, if she can interview them for, like, why waste our time? Like, we, again, our volunteers were here. If Joanne and somebody else can sit through the first interview and then just say, yes, this person's out, or yes, this person's great, you know, yes or no, and then if they get to the next interview, that's with us. Not that getting the vibes from this person is the right word to say, but like,
Maybe.
like, you know, maybe they are totally off of what their interview actually, you know, their resume says. So I just feel like, originally it was that you guys, or usually the director, like, and especially for all these other positions too. If you guys get applicants that you think are worthy, then you guys are gonna go through them, and then you guys bring to us, hey, here are the top two, in my opinion, I think these would be great. Then those people should probably interview with us, and then we should say, okay, yes or no,
Okay.
right? Or do you?
I think RB is the only one I liked.
Yeah.
I mean, what's
Me too,
Well,
qualified.
I think that maybe we should, since we're losing, maybe we should take time out and maybe call us in for an interview.
The one, the
RB.
RB, yeah.
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 Not,
Okay.
not any of the other ones?
I don't think,
Oh,
that one
no.
jumps around, I
Okay.
don't like that. We don't wanna
I
put
don't
all
like the
our.
attitude in even the way she was
investment.
writing, it just, that'd be wrong, I don't know.
Okay.
MS,
And the other one, I don't think
Not
had a lot
qualified.
of qualifications
No.
for that. I don't think it was, but maybe if she wants a different position with lower pay.
She's the one that was with Rails, right? MS? Yes. Yes. That was my second choice, because she's got a lot of computer savvy, which with the libraries, the way they're going, that is a big help. And although she hasn't had a directorship per se, with her other experience, she might be able to
There's
step
a lot of
in.
experience writing grants.
Yes, and writing grants, yes.
Maybe she wants to be in the head of the youth department.
So I don't think it'd be bad if Joanne can interview all three of these, and then,
Well, one
see
is,
what
doesn't
they're-
have even the qualifications, I think.
No.
well, not even, I mean, you can tell them, hey, we're not considering you for a director, but if you are interested in applying for this, we have these other two positions.
Okay.
If you'd like a meeting, you know, let me know and I'll set up an interview. So, Joanne, are you okay with being part of that interview process? And then if you think someone is good enough for any of these positions? So we have three, right? Director, head of youth, and public service reference assistant. So we have three openings. All applications that you get at your time, you want to do them all in one day, one a day, like whatever works for you. And I know you're only here till Friday, but if you can do it by Friday, if not, one of the other heads. And then once you feel that, hey, this is someone that the board would like, or this is someone who I think is really good for the library itself,
It's
I want
gonna
them to
fit
be the
in
board.
with-
Yeah, then bring them, then, we'll add it to the agenda so that we can go over it.
So you want to interview all three of these?
I would think so. One of them, we said we would not consider for director for sure. Which one, what are the initials?
Okay.
LK, not for director. We'll let them know, hey, if they're interested in these other positions, probably like head of youth, if that's something they'd like to interview for,
Okay.
just let you know.
And you do want me to repost it?
Repost,
Head of youth, they don't have the education
Alright, then maybe not next year.
She has this
Well, then why does she think
experience
she
with
can be the
youth
director? What's
services.
the
Because
difference?
people just throw their resume out when they see something.
Oh. Well, ask her if she wants the references, that's
Like,
the job.
this RB, she even did the levy documentation for the board, so to me, that was kind of like,
Yes,
you know,
yeah, that's
interesting.
that was my first
Yeah.
thought, and then this MS I thought was,
MS is the second one.
yeah.
Oh, maybe she
Okay.
might be the, oh no, Danielle said she doesn't, MS doesn't have the qualifications for head of youth.
LK does not.
Oh, yeah.
MS, I don't know, I think.
Wait, which one is the one that jumps?
Okay,
Yeah.
did I steal it from you?
She spent a lot of time on that resume.
I know. These are also yours. That's your confusion.
MS maybe, but not for director, but maybe.
Okay, so we've got direction, right, and no further action from us right now? Are we good tabling that?
Don't start that, I saw that.
Alright, are we good tabling the director opening?
Way past my bedtime.
Yes, Joanne will
There's
get
a
back to
clock
us
over there.
next week.
Alright, Joanne will get back to us.
Yeah, she reads so good.
Alright, closed session. Let me text Votto, our lawyer.
Do you want me to get up in there?
Oh yeah, for closed session, the library's closed. Do we want to have that here? Do we want to go into the room? It will be on a
There's
laptop.
nobody here but us.
Is
Yeah.
there any people?
Your discretion.
I'm sorry, but I have to go to the restroom.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's fine.
I'll meet you.
I don't know about,
You'll be back.
By the time you.
I don't know about that, I think it's, closed session, it's better to go somewhere.
There's
And-
nobody here.
Here right now, it's fine.
We
The
go up,
police-
we didn't hear anything, guys.
The clinic.
If nobody's here, Sam, I don't wanna be.
Well, we gotta loop you in on most of this stuff anyway.
Fuck it.
Well, if we met downstairs, we
Whatever.
Okay, so do we motion to enter closed?
Alright, so is there a motion to, go into closed session?
Yes, I
Yeah.
make a motion.
Okay,
Second.
9:50.
Do you want it?
and we'll go by.
TV or in there?
What time do you guys,
9:50.
My girl is supposed to leave at 10 o'clock for work, I think. I gotta tell her I'm still here.
Okay, so I already text,
And
July.
actually, when we talk about these,
You gotta-
for further reference, when we're talking about hiring people, that should be closed session.
Yes, and there was a couple